drive,
at the same
and
time.
Lyle's getting hyped. I'm like, bruh, just calm down a little bit,
like
dog.
you had the opposite take. You were like, tell Lyle to calm down.
Hey,
Tell him to chill.
dog. He was getting hyped.
Is he wrong? Is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong. Luke Arkins tweeted yesterday that Cal Raleigh had 4 strikeouts in a game 9 times. Like, this isn't the first time he's done that. I know that it kind of goes hand
First
in
time
hand.
this year.
I know that we're talking about the fatigue that you can accrue as an everyday catcher. I think that he needs a day off. Adam Jude pointed out yesterday was his 64th start at catcher, which is the most among any catcher in baseball.
Almost like he needs some rest.
He does need some rest, but the home run derby is not messing Cal up. Let Cal do the derby. Let good players do fun things.
Yeah, do fun things, man. Go ahead, do your thing, man. But it's at a risk. There's a risk that you have out there. And go have fun. Go have fun. Go do your thing, Cal.
Why do you sound so salty about it?
Because I am salty about it. You got Lyle yelling at people. You got Brian Walters sitting here. I texted him, too, sitting here telling, no, that's not a big deal. Y'all are crazy, man. If you think that warm-up did nothing to his swing, absolutely
not
nothing.
To his swing.
Absolutely
to his
nothing.
Fatigue level.
To everything.
No.
His swing, his fatigue, all of that. All of that. Golfers know, and Brian used this example. Golfers know when you warm up for a round, I don't sit there and hit 50 to 60 balls and say, okay, I'm ready to go. 10, 15, loosen up a bit and say, all right, we're ready to go. We saw Luke Raley jack up his oblique in BP because he's swinging for the fences. I'm just saying, you guys are acting like it had absolutely nothing. Now,
I didn't say that.
This is going to happen. Cal's going to have his days when he goes 0 for 4. Okay. But to sit there and be like, hey, yeah, you threw up because you drank too much last night. Right? That's why you threw up, because you drank too much last night.
Yeah.
Right? That has something to do with what went down yesterday. Something. And I think Cal's going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. But we can't ignore that he did something out of his routine, out of the norm, huffing and puffing. And dad is tired.
No,
brother's catching.
no,
to just ignore what he did before, it's insanity.
He didn't mess up the swing itself. The swing itself is not messed up from the home run derby.
Okay.
We already talked about when Cal said that he would go to the derby.
Okay.
We all decided as a show, wow, his swing is perfect for the derby.
Okay.
Curtis was talking about how repetitive
Y'all decided. I didn't agree with you.
The derby is not going to mess Cal up.
Y'all decided.
Cal did not strike out 4 times because
You better
of this.
hope it doesn't. You better hope. Because if Cal comes away for this home derby and he's in a slump, I ain't even going to say nothing. First 10 minutes of the show, I'm silent.
Yes.
I'm silent. I'm just sitting here. Curtis, you take the first segment. I'm done.
I'm going to be pouting over crossed, here. Just seething. Well, let's talk about the game itself. Let's see. Dan Wilson talked about being able to generate traffic on the base paths. Unfortunately, couldn't drive those guys home.
I mean, these guys, as we know, they fight till the end, and you know, it's not always a base hit. It's just some really good at bats, some key walks there to get on base and create some traffic, and that's. You know, those were strong at bats, and the double play got us a couple times late in the game. But again, guys doing what they need to do to get on base and create the pressure that we like to put on the other team.
Yeah, we've seen this before. It turns out when the top of your order goes 1 for 12, again, Cal getting 4 strikeouts, JP accounting for the only hit, Julio also struggling. It doesn't do much for you. Grounded to double plays, it's even worse. Just not a great day for the offense.
You don't win ball games when Julio goes 0 for with a K, Cal goes 0 for with 4, and then JP gets on once. No, you don't win those ball games. And that was Dan that was speaking, right? Mm-hmm. And Dan's right. You did have situations with the 6th and the 7th to where there was an opportunity for you to kind of close the gap in this game and get runners on and drive them in, and you just weren't able to do it. I think the more, not satisfying, but the part that keeps me kind of calm is that Williamson got up to the plate, and I thought he could do it. I'm like, yeah, this dude might be able to do this. He's playing decent right now. Solano got to the plate, and I thought he might be able to do this because we've seen what he's done over the past couple of weeks.
He ground into one, too.
Yeah, you ground into double plays. That's going to happen. You had an opportunity to do this. I think another concerning part or something that we got to talk about is Emerson Hancock and just how he's been playing. He's been lit up 3 or 4 times this year. And this is the first time he's been lit up by a team that ain't really that great. Yeah, the Yankees got him, the Tigers got him, and I forgot who the other team was, but all really good teams, right? And the Tigers was earlier in the season, got the Yankees later. Oh, it was the Cubs. And the Cubs are a pretty good ball club as well. So there are some things that that you have to point at when you lose ball games, right? Henderson goes 102 pitches. Why? Because the bullpen has been stretched so thin the last couple of games, right? Kirby should have went deeper into the game the other day. That's one question I had. Like, all right, if Kirby goes a little deeper, maybe save an arm or two. So yeah, I figured they lose a game here.
Yeah.
I didn't think they're gonna mop this series. I figured they lose one.
You did say that.
This is baseball. They're gonna win the next two, and I think we're gonna be fine. But we do have to point out what we saw from yesterday.
Logan Gilbert on the mound tonight. Hopefully that gives you more stability there. I know that talks of Logan's fastball velocity has been something we asked Shannon Dreyer about it the other day, and she said it doesn't sound like the coaching staff is especially concerned. So until they are, I guess we won't be. Again, watching to see how Logan's going to look today. To the text line. Someone said, I disagree with Lyle, and therefore me. Football players don't tackle 100 dudes to the ground before a football game. Basketball players don't max effort dunk 100 times before a game. It definitely makes a difference. Okay, here's the thing. I think that when you're talking about – first, Cal was doing this at like noon, 1 for a game at 6:40. Like when was he actually doing this?
It was hours.
It was hours before the game. Hours before the game. He did say it was fatiguing.
Y'all are crazy.
It didn't mess him
Y'all
up. It just makes you really
nuts.
tired. It's like getting in a really
Y'all are absolutely
extensive
nuts.
workout. Why are we nuts?
So it just didn't count. It happened at 12, so my body doesn't feel any
This
effects
is
of
not
that.
the same as tackling
That
100
is
guys before a
crazy.
game. This
It's
is not like playing
Stacy,
a full
have you
game
ever been in
before
a batting
full
cage
game.
before and sat there and just swung and swung?
No, I'm saying
Stacy
it's
has
exhausting.
never been to a batting cage.
First of all, you don't know that, Curtis. Let me speak for
She
myself,
might.
okay?
She
Let me
might have been
speak for
to
myself.
Bullwinkle's
I'll answer
Family
the
Fun
question.
Center?
Thank you. I'll answer the question. No, I
Bullwinkle's
haven't.
Like, I don't think it played like a huge role. No.
Yeah.
All right, but to just sit here and act like it never happened, I think it would be foolish.
Fear, it sounds like, is both of us are saying Cal said he was fatigued. Like, it definitely takes it out of you. Your fear, it sounds like, is that something else might be tweaked, maybe timing, maybe a mental thing. Maybe
because here's the thing: like when you're in the home run
Okay.
derby or you're practicing for the home run derby, you got Pops throwing the baseball 30 feet from you or something. The timing is different. Him releasing the ball is different. He's giving you the same kind of velo every single time, and you get into this rhythm to where you're swinging the bat at the same tempo. There's a timing, right? Swing, boom, get ready. Swing, boom, get ready, and it just messes up your timing a little bit. It's just natural. You put me in a batting cage, I'm the batting cage champion of the world because I get the timing down. You put me in a batter's box with a real pitcher throwing that thing and messing with the velo and the angles and all that stuff, I ain't hitting that thing. It's different. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying it is the reason why. But to sit here and act like what he did at 12 ain't going to affect what he did at 6 when it's hot as heck, the timing's different, the release is different, Pops is throwing up meatballs. Like,
This is what I think is affecting Cal Raleigh. Number one, Cal Raleigh's workload is affecting Cal Raleigh. 2, sometimes your timing might just be like a little bit off. Like it does look like Cal's timing is like a tiny bit off, like just a little. And guess what? Before I know he had a sac fly and a home run in that game the other day, but like, weren't we just talking about a couple days of Cal not getting a home run? Maybe it's just kind of one of those weeks you just don't have your absolute best, ABs or whatever.
And someone get off my head. Bum who couldn't hit a simple high school breaking ball. I'll pass on hitting advice. I couldn't hit it consistently, okay?
Well, first of all, no one on this entire station could hit it consistently. Ball. Yeah.
Oh, but
not a single person on the airwaves.
But it's just, you know what it's like? It's like when I'm running routes on air, right? And I have a quarterback that's throwing me the football. Routes on air, I'm getting to 5 yards, I'm breaking here, get to 12, I'm breaking there. And then you put a DB out there. Now I got to adjust my route to the DB. Now I have to make sure the safety is there. My angles are different. It's not as easy as it is on routes on air. There's changes. I'm still going to be able to make some plays, and Cal's still going to be able to make some plays. But it does something to you. It's not real ball. And that's all I'm saying. Cal, he's going to have his days where he goes 0 for 4. It's just a coincidence. Just so happened, first 0 for 4 game of the year is right after that.
I will accept that Cal's workload and like maybe the pressure he's now facing, even though you hear day in and day out how he's just kind of unaffected by things, he's really even-keeled, just like a very chill, unaffected person. I have a hard time thinking as a human that doesn't a little bit start to make you feel like, oh, I really got to swing here. I really got to knock this over the fence. But I will at least accept that adding derby practice onto a busy workload will make you feel a bit more fatigued than you normally would. I don't think it's going to mess with the mechanics of what he's doing.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Let's see. What else do I want to get to here? We have a couple people texting in. What do you think of this from, oh gosh, I lost it. Joe in Bellevue texted in. I lost your text, Joe. But he said they lost the division last night.
Divish said that?
No, Joe in Bellevue.
Oh, okay. I'm like, dang, Divish.
He said no. He said they lost the division. I don't agree, but what do you think?
No, they made it tougher for sure. And
season high 7 games.
Real quick, my grandmother is in Mississippi, so I want to say hello. They're watching from Mississippi. Woodruff family, love y'all. Thanks for love and support. But no, they didn't lose it. Did they make it tougher on themselves? Yeah, they made it tougher on themselves. You got to win these ball games. But I expected them to drop one. They're not going to win 7, 8 in a row. I don't think that team has that streak in them, not right now at least. For them to win 7, 8 games in a row, 1 through 5, you got to be on point. Pitching has to be on point. You got to catch them at the right time. The schedule has to be there. There's some things that have to align for this team to do that because they're just not that talented of a group collectively. No, I don't think they lost the division. Did they make it harder on themselves? Yes. And honestly, the division is like secondary to me now. I'm just focused on the wild card. Just hold down the wild card spot. It's going to be tough to catch the Astros anyway. We know Yordan has had a setback, so what? We know that Pena is banged up, so what? They always find a way to do what they do, and their pitch is on point. I'm not even really focused on the division. I'm slowly chip away at it, but while you're chipping away at the division, I'm just looking over my shoulder to make sure that the teams that are 2.5, 3 games behind stay right there.
You know when you need to accept that you can't solve a problem that day or even that week, but that you can maybe solve it or get better with it. And it's the hardest pill to swallow is the one where you go, I can't fix it today. That's what the Mariners kind of have to accept about the division lead the Astros have. You can kind of keep pace with them and, like Bump said, chip away, but they've got a comparatively easier schedule to Seattle. Right now, the Astros are facing the Rockies. And then they've got the Guardians and the Marlins, I think. Like, Seattle, after the Pirates series, is facing the Yankees and the Tigers. 2 first-place teams. The Seattle Mariners are going to have a harder time, not just making up ground, getting wins than will the Astros over the next 4 series here. So it's kind of one of those problems you go, man, you can't solve this today. You're not going to solve this week.
No.
Just keep winning, keep pace, try to stay competitive. And importantly, on July 2nd, no, I'm not going to say that you absolutely have lost the division.
No.
I think it's likely that you have. I mean, your playoff odds aren't even over. I don't think they're over like 60%, but still, I think it's a little too early to have, what did I tell us to stop having? Stop having loser mentalities.
Yeah, I mean, you're 7 games back now. It's going to take a downfall by the Astros, which is possible because we just talked about all the injuries that they have, but as long as their pitch is on point, they're going to have a chance. You got the Angels who are right behind you, a game and a half. I believe we're going to talk about them today. You just made the situation harder. But I think that we need to change the way that we look. Or I am. Y'all do what y'all want to do, okay? Apparently, home run derby does nothing to a batter.
Oh, I will say like 80% of the text line is behind you.
But I think it's time that I change like my goals. You know, like when you're going through something and you're trying to hit these milestones and you're just not hitting them, and you put yourself behind a little bit and you're like, okay, short-term stuff. Like let's shift the short-term and then the long-term will be there in the end. That's what I'm doing with the Mariners at this point. It's like, all right, man, the division probably not going to happen at this point. You would have to get hot, and I will reserve a space in my mind and my heart for them to get hot. At this point, it's, all right, wild card, man, because that's the type of team that most people expected anyway. Even when they were hot and we're praising them and showed them all this love, there was still that little voice in the back of your head saying, we know how this goes. Astros are going to get hot and the Mariners are going to have some stumbles because the roster isn't what all these other rosters are. So I just shifted it a little bit. There's still some space for the division, but it's all about the wild card.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE. That stands for Women in Sports and Events. Together, we want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open now until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of her choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org before the deadline. Let's get to headline rewrite.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, just talked about it, but Cal Raleigh said practicing for the home run derby on Tuesday was, quote, exhausting. What's the real headline?
Says a lot for a guy who catches practically every day.
He's fine. He'll be fine.
I knew that you would do this.
He'll be fine. Okay? He will be fine. Have you ever seen
I knew you were getting ready.
the homie struggle? You ever seen the homie struggle and you're like, he's going to be okay, though. I know him. He's resilient. This is what he does. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about Cal and how that might have messed up his routine or whatever. Because as we know, too, baseball players are creatures of habits, man. They're the most superstitious athletes out there. You know, who knows what that did? He is going to be fine. I'm not sitting here saying that Cal's going to be jacked up and what is he doing. I'm just saying that maybe a change in his routine had something to do with what happened last night, just because we haven't seen that from him this year. He will be fine, but I'm going to talk my talk, and I embrace anybody who wants to throw shots at me.
Not a lot of people are, Bump. I'm serious. The vast majority of people are siding with you. And I think part of that is probably where you're coming from as well, which is knowing this team has such a slim margin for error, knowing Cal's having such a special season, and just really wanting to see not only whether Cal and maybe a couple other bats can lift this team to the playoffs, but whether Cal can make history. We're talking about watching baseball history in real time. Do you know how cool that is? We don't often get to see something like that, and it's even cooler when it's not a Yankees player. I love that for us. So, yes, there is part of me that goes, I fear Cal will get hurt. Not just in a derby, but just in general. Like, I fear he's going to get hurt and we aren't going to get to see something really special. However, I'm pushing back against the idea that a home run derby will take away from his season. I think that's us being afraid of something that in our mind needs protecting, because who are the Mariners without Cal right now?
Nobody.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Yordan Alvarez suffered another setback in his return from a hand injury, and Jeremy Pena has been placed on the IL, but the Astros still picked up another game on the Mariners last night. What's the real headline?
The Astros are both good and fortunate, which is a deeply annoying combination to Mariners fans.
Yeah,
like,
they
imagine being lucky and good.
That's what they do. I mean, the baseball gods favor them for some reason. I don't understand why. But they got talent over there. They have guys who step up. One of the more riskier things these guys did this year was just play this rookie early, right? And Smith. And, roll the dice on him and watch him develop. And he's been doing okay as of late. And it seems like they always have a guy who can step up and fill that void in the time being. So, they're just a better team. Better roster, better pizza, Papa John's.
I noticed they have some weird stretches of series. This isn't going to make Mariners fans feel better at first, because this goes to that kind of fortunate thing. They had a 3-game series recently against the Phillies where they swept the Phillies. They got 5 runs total over those 3 games and swept the Phillies. And it's so frustrating because the Mariners have lost games in which they've scored 4 runs, sometimes 5 runs, when last year we were begging them. Like, can you get more than 2 a game? Can you get 3 or 4? Can you get maybe 5 in a game? You should always win a game in which you get 5 runs with this pitching staff. That just hasn't quite happened this year. It's like when one side isn't showing up, like the offense, the pitching isn't able to make up for it. And that's exactly what the Astros recipe has been this year. It drives me crazy. However, don't forget that the Athletics' Chandler Rome was on with us yesterday and said, look, yes, this team is hot. At a certain point, you need to stop saying how are they getting away with it and just accept that they can. They still need to add a bat at the deadline. This offense has scored the second fewest runs in the AL West.
And the worst part about that, too, is in the month of June, I believe they had the second best average as a team. Right, but it didn't feel like they had the second best average as a team because they would give up these games where you're allowing 8-9 runs and pitching's getting blown up and bullpen is getting stressed out. So that's where stats will fool you sometimes because every game has its own identity regardless of what the stats say.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, on the first day of NHL free agency, Kraken GM Jason Botterill said he likes where Seattle's roster is at despite having the 10th most available cap space. What's the real headline?
Out of the playoffs? Last time I checked, that's where Seattle's roster was, right? I love our team. You're out of the playoffs. You were not a good team. In fact, you took a step back. I think you need to look a little more harshly at your team and look at the roster you have and go, are we good enough to win a championship? Are we good enough to get to the Stanley Cup playoffs? Are we good enough to make a playoff run? Are we good enough to not only get to the playoffs, to take a step forward from last year? And if the answer is no, what are you doing? Why are you sitting on your hands?
Maybe he feels that way. Maybe he feels that the roster is better than what people think it is.
Then that's hubris.
Because, well, we don't know the ins and outs like that. You and I can't sit here and act like we are this savants when it comes to hockey, right? So that's why I lean on other people in the community. They think that there's talent there. They think that the leadership was kind of jacked up over there, and there's a chance for them to be better. Stanley Cup champions? No. We're not talking that. I think we're looking at them the same way we look at the Mariners and the Seahawks right now. Just get into the playoffs, or at least be a threat. Them be a threat to get into the playoffs. The Mariners, you got to get in. The Seahawks, you got to get in. So I don't know, but you know how this goes as well. They're not going to come out and say, I'm so worried about this roster. I don't know if we got it, guys. Can you guys
believe this team we constructed? Oh, my question, though. You mentioned, you know a lot of people who are former players or just massive hockey fans that feel really good about maybe some of the younger pieces or feel like they can take a step forward. What's their feeling on the front office, though? Like, do they feel like the front office is a little too passive?
They feel like the front office isn't aggressive enough and that they should have went a different direction with the head coach spot. Obviously, when you have a name like Mitch Love in the mix, a local dude, people are going to lean that way. But they also think that Lambert brings a lot to the table. He's been around the block a few times, coached some teams into the playoffs. Like, he knows what he's doing and what a good team looks like. So they're not mad at it, but it's more like you missed an opportunity a couple years ago. You do have some young talent on this roster, but you got to keep building and not with just 35-year-olds.
Coming up next, our look around the AL West continues. The Rangers and Angels are hot on Seattle's tail, but how dangerous are the Angels, really? Angels Radio Network's Trent Rush joins us next. We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
If you're going to get tossed meatballs and stuff, all you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Dick's epic 4th of July sale is on. Get summer ready with 25% off select Stanley drinkware. Get 20% off Igloo coolers and water bottles and select bog bags. Buy one, get one 50% off DSG coolers, canopies, chairs, and water bottles. $200 off Callaway AI smoke irons and TaylorMade QI10 drivers. These deals won't last. Stock up for summer now, in-store or online at Dicks.com. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
21 days until Seahawks training camp, and Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Trent Rush of Angels Radio Network joining us right now as we look around the AL West. And Trent, while there is a lot to talk about with this team, I was actually going to start with another story in the news for the Angels, that of Ron Washington missing the remainder of the season. Just kind of the feeling around the clubhouse there and any words that players or the coaching staff might have had for Ron.
Yeah, obviously he's going to be really missed the rest of the year. He totally changed the culture in terms of, I think, the Angels' belief in themselves and what this team is capable of accomplishing. This is a building project when he took on, this young core of talent. And, again, lost 99 games last year. It was the worst season win-loss-wise in franchise history. That being said, you felt like there was growth and progress, and Ron Washington was a huge part of that. At his core, Ron Washington is a teacher. So now he's going to be away from the team the rest of the season. You just want him to get well, and I know the guys are going to miss him greatly. Again, not just baseball expertise, but just as a communicator and someone that was there to support.
Trent, the Angels 41-42, as you know. You guys have been able to hang around a little bit, right? I look at the standings every now and then. Obviously, I don't watch all of your games. We focus on the Mariners here, but how have they been able to hang around and still be a threat throughout the season?
Yeah, those pesky Mariners can't seem to get past you guys. It's going to be it's always fun, and that's it's been a nice little rivalry through the years. The Angels, the Mariners. I'd tell you this: the Angels, if you look at some of the underlying metrics, they're not great in terms of batting average, on base percentage. They hit a lot of home runs, but offensively, again, not a whole lot of guys get on. They don't walk. They strike out a lot. How in the world is this team scoring at all? And then you look at what they're doing with runners in scoring position, and they've had a lot of close wins. They've managed to be very successful in extra innings games, and they've been getting timely hits. So you give the team credit for that. And even though, the underlying numbers may not be where you want them to be, there is pretty significant progress. I mean, this team was in the month of April was 5 games under 500. In May, they played 500 baseball, and in June, they're 4 games over 500. So you look at the way things are trending, okay, well, things seem to be going a better way. The Angels have also been fortunate to have a pretty healthy rotation. They haven't had, the 5 starters they had to begin the year are the same 5 starters they're rolling with right now. There has been no change to that at any point. So that's been fortuitous for the Halos. Certainly, they've gotten a lot of improved bullpen production. Reed Detmers, who was an important piece of the Angels rotation a few years ago, struggled last year, moved to the bullpen this year, and has been dominant at the end of games. So, the Angels feel like, they have a lot of pieces that are going the right way. And they're just kind of a scrappy, gritty team, not a lot of expectation, not a lot of pressure. And I think so far they've overcome, I think, a lot of expectations that people may have had of them coming into the year.
We all kind of know the secret sauce or the must-happen ingredient for each of the teams that we cover as we head into the second part of the season, right? Like for the Mariners to make the playoffs, and for either of these teams, not only do you need Houston to fall off, but for Seattle, you need Cal to keep raking, Julio to figure it out, and pitching to get a bit healthier. Like we kind of know what it's going to take. If the Angels are going to make a push and really, really stay competitive, what's one of those kind of like prime secret ingredients that they're going to need in the second half?
Well, Mike Trout's production is something to be watching. So Mike is tearing it up on the road. On the road, Mike Trout has looked like vintage Mike Trout. At home, the numbers have been far worse, which is surprising. He's still, to his credit, he's batting .230, but to his credit, he's still getting on base at a very high clip. And, in the month of June was getting on base at close to a .430 rate. So the fact that he's able to do that and provide that kind of production, since he's come back from his injury, he's been a different guy, but it just hasn't quite been the same Mike Trout we saw when he was winning all those MVPs. But if Mike can be productive while you're still getting this young group to grow, Nolan Shawnuel has been really good for the Angels this season. Zach Neto, I think you can make the case right now, is probably the Angels' best player. Logan O'Hoppe is a key piece. You have these young guys, and as long as they continue to develop at the rate that they're developing with Mike Trout's production that he's shown in the last month, you feel like this team does have a chance to improve, certainly.
A question that a lot of people are asking for their ball clubs if they're not clear-cut divisional contenders, I guess. What to do at the trade deadline? You got 26 games left. Are you in the same boat as us? It's kind of too early to kind of figure out what you're trying to do, or do you feel like there's a direction the Angels should go?
Yeah, I think it's too early, to be honest with you. And here's where I'm at on that. Seattle last year did kind of what I thought, what I think maybe the Angels could do this year, where you're half buying, half selling, maybe selling some pieces that are on expiring contracts while at the same time trying to acquire someone that you can have long term. I think the Angels are in a similar boat. It's been a long time, 2014, the last time the Angels were in the playoffs. The fact that as of this morning, they're 2.5 games out of a playoff spot is tantalizing. Okay, right? You don't want to give up on that at this point. That being said, there's a long way to go before you get to where Houston is in the division. So there's a lot to do to get there. So do you really want to sell and give up on the dream when you're that close? No, but you also don't want to give whatever you have left in the farm to go try to acquire a piece when you would be such a long shot for the division. So I think the Angels are kind of in that in-between spot. I think Seattle probably is in one of those in-between kind of spots. And there's 7 other teams.
One of the more interesting things to me about the Angels is the same thing that's been interesting about the Mariners, where you've had talent go through. You've had some things to be proud of when it comes to, your team. It just hasn't quite come together. And on the one hand, either of these teams can look at Houston and say, oh, my God, please get out of the way. We're begging you. On the other hand, you can also reflect internally and go, okay, here's where this team is missing the mark. Here in Seattle, it's being way too risk averse, not dealing prospects when you probably should in order to kind of win now. When it comes to the Angels, is there any kind of like self-inflicted wounds that have kept them from the playoff success that, some of the talent would otherwise indicate they could have?
Well, I mean, you could think about, through the years, just the way certain rosters have been built. Like, for the current Angels group, it's like the question, okay, are you bringing some of these prospects up too quickly? And these first-round picks are getting there. So far, the Angels have had a pretty good track record where these guys have been successful. The Halos haven't really been able to have that internal pitching development to have success at the major league level yet on a consistent basis. We're talking about it for Detmers, but he's out of the bullpen right now. Soriano was one, but they acquired him as a prospect. So there really haven't been that many homegrown pitchers that have been able to take this team to the next level. And in all the years where the Angels would have Trout and Albert and Ohtani and all these pieces, you just needed the pitching to be there, and then it really wasn't. The other part has just been health. This Angels team has had so many injuries, and it starts, unfortunately, with Mike Trout. It's been a huge issue.
Speaking of Trout, how patient is the fan base with Trout? You know his greatness, right? There's no denying that this guy is a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. His knee has been bothering him. Sounds like he's just swinging the stick these days. Like, what's the vibe with the fans when it comes to their relationship with Mike Trout and his availability?
Look, Mike Trout's going to have a statue in front of the Big A someday. Angel fans love him. He's an amazing person, and obviously what he's done on the baseball field, everyone is aware. An 11-time, maybe even a 12-time All-Star. We'll see what happens this year, and a 3-time MVP. I do understand that there are a lot of Angel fans that are probably frustrated with the availability, but I think one thing that you can say about Mike Trout is he makes every effort possible to be out there. And, he's had some freak injuries through the years. And, even this year he ends up being out for a month, but has come back and has been a very good player over the last, month and change since his return. So you feel positive about that. Like when Mike Trout is out there, you feel like the Angels have a shot, especially with all of these young pieces that the Angels have. The one thing that's interesting about Trout, too, moving forward, guys, he's been playing exclusively as a DH. And, this year they tried to move him to right field. That really wasn't working. He was struggling a bit in right field. Joe Adell had moved from right to center, and Adell was a Gold Glove finalist in right last year. He moved to center, and that's had, some hiccups along the way, too. So that whole move is something the Angels have had to work through. But I think right now they have Mike basically exclusively as a DH. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And so far, it's working.
All right, only saved you, about 30 seconds, a minute for our final answer, but it'll be an easy one. The reason that we're taking our look around the AL West is while Houston is one of 3 teams to reach that 50-win mark, Seattle, the Angels, the Rangers, all kind of clustered together, and we wanted to kind of touch base with some local voices and figure out, look, how seriously does this run look from your guys' end of things? Are you guys looking, for instance, at Seattle going, they're gonna lose it, we're gonna pull ahead? Like, I'm curious as to how Angels fans, in our final question, kind of see the race right now.
Yeah, I don't see it that way at all, and I don't think Angel fans do either. I think there's a respect for Seattle and also an understanding that at some point they're going to start pitching better, right? With all of those arms, the pitching numbers are going to start to get better, and when that happens, that could be problematic. That's a big hill to climb to try to get to where the Mariners are. And then you have this underachieving Texas team, and it's hard to imagine what to think of those guys. I would imagine other teams around the division are probably saying, well, wait a minute, the Angels are what they are. But you know what? I think the Angels feel good about the way that they're improving.
He is Angels Radio Network, Trent Rush. Thanks, Trent.
Thanks, Trent.
All right, we'll see you.
Bump's got 3 things to get off his chest with Get Off My Lawn. It's coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey,
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh. Did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, two-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event this Saturday, July 5th through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event starting this Saturday. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, Basically, bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, experience the power of choice. Whether you're cruising in a fuel-sipping Prius, tackling trails in a rugged Tacoma, hauling with the mighty Tundra, or commuting in comfort with a Camry or RAV4, your perfect Toyota is waiting. Whether you're in the north or the south, they've got you covered. 2 locations, endless possibilities. Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, the power of choice is yours. Visit their incredible team and beautiful showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
A quick Mariners roster move before we get off my lawn. Emerson Hancock has been optioned to AAA Tacoma. Meanwhile, lefty reliever Joe Jakes has been called up. We'll get to this a little bit later. Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us at 11. Right now, Bump's got 3 things grinding his gears with Get Off My Lawn. Bump, what you got?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You're already seething.
I'm going to get this one out the way. We've already talked about this. We've already talked about it, so I'm just going to get out the way. When you're little, what do they say about swimming in the pool? Wait 30 minutes after you eat before you get into the pool. You know, when on a Saturday I've had a late game, like at 4 or 5 o'clock, and my mom used to be like, you're playing outside, you're going to be tired for your game. Mom, what you talk about? What you know about anything, Mom? And then one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, my sophomore year, we're playing Arizona State. My buddy who's older than me had a baby, right? He went to Arizona State, so he's there for the game with a couple of my buddies. They picked me up in my little free time, and we smoked cigars to celebrate the baby.
Oh, no.
Took a punt to the house on ESPN the next day, throwing up on the sideline because I had a dang cigar, right? So what I'm saying is what you do affects your performance, okay? So I'm done arguing with everybody, but we're not going to ignore that Cal Raleigh switched up his routine, had Pops throwing him little meatballs, and he was smacking him things. He was tired, obliques, his abs. It affected his game a little bit. He's going to be fine because you know what he's going to do? He's going to adjust his routine, and he is going to his body's going to adjust to that feel and the fatigue and all that stuff. He will be fine. But how dare any of you act like what you do during the day does not affect your performance later. I'm done unless we talk about it again. Get off my dang lawn. Kyle will adjust. He will be okay.
We'll talk about it with Jordan. What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, the number 0 should be banned from all sports. I'm done with number 0. Done with it. Okay?
You dove right into
Seen
that
too
one.
many soldiers go down this year. Halliburton went down, Dame went down, Tatum went down. Now, there are situations where the number 0 has been fine. Calvin Ridley, 2 1,000-yard seasons, were number 0. Deion Henley, linebacker for the Chargers, 147 tackles last year. Agent 0, Gilbert Arenas, we all know who that is, did his thing. DeMarcus Cousins wore number 0. He went from averaging 19 points to 11 and then to 9. Get rid of number 0. It's not even a real number. It is a number, but it isn't. Like, it represents nothing by itself.
Yeah, and everything also.
Nothing and everything.
You know?
Right? You put a number in front of it, you're fine. All right, it means something. You put a decimal, 0, and numbers behind it, it means something. But 0 by itself means absolutely nothing. Let's get rid of the dang number. Westbrook should be the last person to wear number 0. That's it. And I'm tired of seeing these soldiers go down. Saw too many go down during the playoffs. I am superstitious.
Stop.
I am superstitious.
It's not the number 0.
My daughter will not be wearing number 0. If they ever come to me saying, Dad, I don't want to wear number 0, I go, get out my house. Get out my house. You have to pay bills now. You're paying your own cell phone bill. I'm tired of you charging my card for Microsoft Xbox. I'm done with your PS5. Get out my house. Number 0 does not belong in the Bumpus household. It will not be around in the Bumpus household. Unless there's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in front of it. We're not messing with number 0.
You don't believe that.
I believe it. Done with number 0.
Number 0 hasn't hurt anyone.
Look. How many times have you seen 3 guys go down in the same playoffs with the same injury?
I mean, not
wearing
often.
the same number.
Not often.
Come on now.
There could be a lot of things at play.
Hey, the universe is a weird place, man. If you think you understand the universe, you're crazy. You don't understand how this thing works, all right? So you go through the universe the way you want to. I'm going through the way I want to.
Okay.
Number 0 is cursed. I'm not doing it.
What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Last one. This is life one right here. I got cousins and friends, more cousins that are younger than me. And there are things that young people are just better than me at, right? And there's some people who are young people who know finances better because they went to school for this stuff. They read all these books. They know the stock market better than I do. I dab in it, but I don't know much. I go to younger people for that too because they're all in that stuff. Real estate, I know young people in their 20s or in real estate know all that stuff. And I will lean on you for that.
Mm-hmm.
If your birthday starts with a 2, the year starts with a 2, man, don't be giving me no life advice. I'm so tired of young people trying to give me life advice.
Who gave you life advice?
You should try this. You should try that. I got a homie who's young, he's in his mid-20s and stuff, and I'm like, who are you talking to? I've been married 15 years. I've had relationships way beyond what you even can think of. Stop trying to tell me how to live my life, okay? There's certain things I'm not ignorant. I will lean on you if you're versed in it. All right, I got you. But 2,000 babies, 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't be coming at us old heads. You see gray in my beard. Don't come at me with no type of advice for my life and how I do things. Now, if you have an expertise, in real estate, stock, and, financials, all that stuff, and this is what you do, I will listen because I want to learn. If you're done, if you're not learning, you're dying. And I'm not trying to die. I'm trying to push out at least 40, 50 more, all right? But don't come at me with no relationship life advice, all right? You just make sure that you look both ways before you cross the street, all right? You make sure the woman stands on the inside of you when you're walking down the street.
That's right.
You open up the door for these ladies, all right? You want some real life advice, some real game? I got you. Don't ever give me any advice when it comes to relationships and life. Stay in your lane, okay?
Life advice from someone that young.
Yeah.
I would even throw on 99. You can be in there too. You know
99?
what I mean? Yeah, 99. They can be in there too. Like anyone, that's wild.
Yeah.
You know what though? People in their 20s, and I was guilty of this. Everyone in their 20s has been guilty of this. Like you do think you know. Like you do think you're grown.
Because you have access to a lot of information.
You have access to a lot of information, and you also, your prefrontal cortex isn't done being developed. So there's this thing that happens that starts in teenagehood when you start to feel like you should absolutely be part of conversations, and you're using logic and reasoning, but you haven't fully developed your brain.
Yeah.
And so you really do think, I think this when I watch my little sons on Love Island, they really do think that like, I've got this figured out. Trust me, this is how it really is. And you're like, oh, you don't even know.
I know.
You don't know yet, but that's okay.
You just read the back of the book. You
Yes,
didn't read the chapters.
that's exactly what it is because you haven't experienced
You
it
haven't.
yet.
And it's
that's
okay. I would
It's
love.
okay.
Sometimes I would, I wouldn't go back to 20s. If I go furthest back, I go is like 30, 31. All right, and that's like the sweet spot. I feel like for men because we're supposed to be grown and developed by then. So you youngsters, man, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. You are the future. Don't screw this thing up, okay? But don't be coming at me with any advice.
Can I toss on an extra? Just in general, while I love people, trying to establish themselves with the passions that they care about, it is hard for me to take very serious fitness, food, or skincare advice from someone who's 22.
Right.
If you are a 22-year-old beauty influencer and you're like, this made my skin glowing, you have natural collagen in your skin. That's what's making it glowing. Talk to me when you need 40 units of Botox.
Facts. Oh, here's how you get abs. Here's how you get abs.
Here's how you get abs.
You're
I have a pizza
23.
once a day. Yeah.
You're a D1 athlete.
Yeah, you have high T. That's how you get abs right now. You could eat 15 pizzas and be fine the next day.
Just fine.
Now, if there's someone out there who's 42 and they've got a six-pack and glowing skin, I want to know the secret.
Yeah, holla at me.
I want to know what
Holla
you're
at me.
doing. That's way more impressive to me. Yahoo Sports, Jordan Shusterman joining us next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. You just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it.
I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce.
Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly.
The countdown is on.
21 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Emerson Hancock has been optioned to AAA Tacoma in a corresponding move. The Mariners recalled Joe Jakes. The Knicks are expected to hire Mike Brown as head coach for ESPN. He's a four-time champion as an assistant in Golden State and San Antonio.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline and on video, if you're on seattlesports.com or the Seattle Sports app, it's Yahoo Sports, Jordan Shusterman. Hi, Jordan. How's it going?
Hey, guys. Happy Wednesday. Always happy to be here. What's going on?
We're happy to have you. We have a lot of fun stuff to get to. I'm going to start with a debate that was raging this morning, not just on our morning show, Brock and Salk, but later how we started the show. And it's people being completely torn about whether or not it's a good or bad thing for Cal Raleigh to be in the home run derby. And Jordan, I will preface this, as I'm sure you know, that Cal had his first practice for the home run derby yesterday and then struck out 4 times in a game. I don't think it's impactful. Bump and many listeners, I'll say, disagree. What do you think?
So I think I come down somewhere in between, where I think being concerned that him participating will torpedo his entire season is definitely too overdramatic. I think what is very real, and I think Cal even said this yesterday, is that doing the home run derby is exhausting. And like, that is a very real thing. And so if you want to read into that and be like, why should the guy who's already doing more work than anyone else in baseball be extending himself to participate in something like this? The answer is because it's really cool. And at the end of the day, this is entertainment. And Cal Raleigh, I love that he is saying yes to this. I love that he's just all over the place, and we're seeing Big Dumper everywhere. So I understand there's a push and pull, and because he means so much to this team, anything to jeopardize that feels a little scary. But I'm also not surprised that the Mariners are like, yes, like, this is an incredible season, and this is a way to also be a part of this incredible season, is for him to be in the home run derby. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, home run, hitting bombs is cool. Yeah, I'm sure it's a wonderful feeling. I've never done it in a game.
Dingers are dope.
Dingers are dope. When it comes to this team as they stand right now, Emerson Hancock had himself a tough outing. It depends on how you look at it, right? It was loose for a little bit, but then kind of tightened some things up, and the Mariners weren't able to produce. Now he's sitting down. You got a reliever being called up. How do you foresee this rotation shaping out before the All-Star break?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, Hancock has been pretty solid recently, and that was a relatively rare hiccup, although it's not something, we haven't seen from him before. I certainly don't think that's the last we will see of Emerson Hancock this season. I think, this is more of a roster maneuverability situation where, especially coming off that day, you have these extra games this week, fewer off days. You want to make sure your bullpen is as long as possible. So a little bit disappointing just because it felt like Emerson had kind of started to find some solid ground. But again, I still expect to see him. I will be interested to see if Logan Evans can make a push to replace him at some point, how they kind of go back and forth between both of those guys. I think from a workload standpoint, I have to imagine they're a little bit more want to be a little bit more careful with Evans. So we'll see if he reemerges. But I think they're in an okay spot right now, all things considered.
I was hoping that we could throw a common listener question or concern, I'll say, your way and kind of see what you think about it. We can guess who you would assume will win the AL West. It's the team that's currently leading the AL West and has maybe the easiest schedule for the remainder of the season. That being said, we had a listener earlier this morning say, I feel like Seattle just lost the division yesterday. Like, they feel like at any point it's just kind of going to slip away. And I wanted to throw that concern your way. Maybe you have a devil's advocate argument, or maybe you just happen to see the AL West as being a bit closer than it feels right now, or maybe not. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, so I think that the argument against Houston, and I pick Houston every year. I pick them again this year. I pick them to win the American League this year, not just the American League West. So what I'm about to say is, kind of going against what I've been consistent on, and obviously not what people want to hear. But if we're making the case against Houston, it is that they are very now even more injured Losing Jeremy Pena is a big deal. The fact that Yordan Alvarez does not appear anywhere close to coming back is a big deal. I think how well they've been pitching it is both impressive and not totally fluky, but you could also say that the depth for some of this pitching staff, like, listen, Fromber, Hunter Brown, Josh Hader, Brian Abreu, those are some of the best in the game, and there's really no refuting that. But some of the performances they've gotten beyond that is both a credit to them and also maybe not something that's necessarily going to sustain. So if you combine some of the injuries that they're now dealing with and kind of the depth of their staff and some of the guys that are performing at levels that maybe we aren't expecting to hang on, I do think Houston could come back to the pack, but at the same time, like, it is also going to rely on the Mariners just playing better and getting better, whether that's adding at the deadline, whether that's just certain players stepping up more. So Seattle clearly still needs to raise their game. I don't think Houston's going to run away with it just yet.
What is it that Houston is best known for, best at? Here, obviously, it's the arms, right? Developing these arms and whatnot in the prospects with 9 out of the top 100 in the farm system. But what is it about Houston? What is it? Is it their farm system? Is it their developing? What is it about Houston?
I'm so glad you asked, because it's such a great contrast, because the Astros have had terrible farm systems almost for this entire run. And then you remember, wait a minute, that's not what we're playing for. And having good prospects is really cool, but if you can find players that can give you, if you can turn Jake Myers into an above-average Major League outfielder, if you can, of course, make what is looking to be so far a pretty good trade, not that Kyle Tucker is not awesome, but as far as that trade is going to go, like, there was a lot of pressure to nail that. And yes, they matched up perfectly with the Cubs, considering where the Cubs were at, how desperate the Cubs were at. We're willing to include Cam Smith. But then, man, they nailed it on Isaac Paredes, too. He really has been as good as really you could possibly hope. So it's just kind of finding extra gears for guys at the big leagues level who weren't necessarily prospects. And I think, again, like I'm mentioning, what they've been able to get out of guys like Colton Gordon and Brandon Walter, who's, even on his second Major League organization, I believe. And then just the bullpen. I mean, Steven Okert and, Brian King. This is honestly something that Seattle has maybe struggled with more so over the last couple of years relative to what they were doing, when they were in the postseason. Is, yes, you still have some Gabe Spires here and there, but Houston is finding impact at the Major League level in ways that you aren't expecting. So even though they still have what is considered one of the weakest farm systems in baseball, they are doing a lot of things right at the highest level, and that's why they're in first place.
So I don't know how much you follow football. So they're the Philadelphia Eagles is what you're saying. They're going out.
They can't keep getting away with this.
They're just plugging guys in and saying, let's get the most out of them.
I think so. Again, with football, I know it's like the Eagles, it's like they have the best roster, but that's also what's a little bit different with the Astros is like not all of their moves are working out. And this is another thing about like why I think they're still vulnerable and not the team that they used to be. I mentioned Fromber not being there. Like, Christian Walker has been a catastrophe. Like, that's a player that I think a lot of Mariners fans thought would have been a good fit in Seattle, and he has not been that. And Jose Altuve is still useful, and his transition to the outfield has been interesting, and he's not the hitter that he used to be at all. So there are still holes on this team. There's still a lot of things that have not gone right for Houston. They still have a lot of injuries on the mound that they're dealing with. So, like I said, they are still no longer a super team, but at the same time, you have to give them credit to be able to find ways with a lot of new personnel to still be this far ahead in first place.
I wanted to stay with the theme of kind of developing farm systems, developing prospects, maybe trading prospects. It is such an interesting juxtaposition. The Astros kind of finding major league talent, either, having surprise developments or just getting guys that can help them win now and then continuing to keep that window open. Whereas the Mariners, on separate occasions, have developed great farm systems under Jerry Dipoto and yet have not been able to have it truly pay off. Do you think that they've just missed on some prospects and gotten unlucky? Do you think that they maybe don't part ways with prospects, that things don't line up? What do you see as something that you'd like them to tweak, just from an outsider's perspective?
Yeah, so there's still obviously like developmental wins on this Seattle staff. Now, another way to look at it, and this is certainly relevant in the month that we're talking, is, okay, well, how do they get Randy Arozarena? Randy Arozarena is playing some pretty good baseball right now, and that was because a trade that they were able to make with prospects that were not necessarily highly drafted in Brody Hopkins and Aiden Smith. And I know we're going to see Brody Hopkins in the futures game. Like, he's probably going to have a good career, But like Randy Rosarena is a good big leaguer, and that's another, and Luis Castillo, another good example of that, right? Where you kind of had coalesced enough prospects to make a big deal like that. And so while, yeah, would it be nicer to have more of the major league breakouts that you aren't necessarily expecting? I think Luke Raley would kind of qualify as that last year, kind of a later career having a season like that. Yeah, that'd be good, especially on the mound and the bullpen where they've kind of been lacking. But especially looking forward, there is clearly, I think, going to be opportunities to some degree to use some of this farm system talent in a trade for now major league help. So we'll see what that looks like. Obviously, we'll have plenty of deadline conversations over the next few weeks, but that's kind of how I think you have to view it.
Speaking of deadline, there are only a few teams who we think consider themselves out of this thing when it comes to, I guess, both leagues. Do you foresee a team that is kind of in the mix right now, but they're showing you something that says, you know what, they're on the downfall. They might be sellers at the end of this thing?
I mean, we're moving in the wrong direction in terms of clarifying who's going to be sellers. I mean, I got my Marlins hat here behind me. Well, what are we supposed to make of these fighting fish? They can't stop winning. This was one of the teams we thought we would be able to absolutely be sure that they were going to be trading away pieces, and I assume that is still going to be the case, but maybe it's not as dramatic as you would expect. So, again, especially if we're just talking about moving relievers, I think even teams that are kind of on the fringes are going to be willing to do so. But I don't know, even Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh's starting to play better. Now, do I expect Pittsburgh and Miami to make the postseason? No, but it might delay their willingness at least a little bit longer until they start shipping pieces off. And then, even Arizona keeps bouncing back and forth. Baltimore is starting to play a little bit better. So, again, we are a long way away from really knowing who those sellers are going to be, but they will emerge. It will happen. There will be teams that start to play terribly leading up to the deadline. It happens every year, and we just have to kind of wait and see who that's really going to be.
Shifting gears away from what we're watching in the league right now for a broader look at a baseball topic. We had a fun debate yesterday about like the best and coolest things that can happen in a game. I thought I gave the correct ranking, and yet Bump was kind of convincing me against a few of these. I had perfect game as the coolest possible thing that could happen in a baseball game, regardless of situation, whether it's the World Series or game 1 of 162. And then I had no hitter. And after that was walk-off grand slam, but we also have on this list inside the park home run, which we saw recently in a Red Sox game, stealing home, a triple play. Some people were saying I was missing a few too, which I certainly was. The cycle I didn't have in there, robbing a home run I didn't have. Okay, your thoughts, Jordan?
Man, so this is a great debate. I think it's important to remove the game context because I think that is against the spirit of the discussion. Because to me, what you're kind of describing is like you happen to go to the ball game on a. Honestly, I think about this often with Felix's perfect game.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a Wednesday afternoon against the Rays. It's like you're not expected to see anything special, even as much as we love Felix, and then that happens. I think perfect game 1 is correct. I think because of how many no-hitters we've had over the last decade, that definitely goes farther down. Especially some of these other ones are
like
really
never see
rare.
him.
Like triple plays.
I've never seen a triple play in person.
Yeah,
ever.
like triple plays. I actually, it's funny you mentioned this. I saw a straight steal of home this season for the first time in my life. Just seeing that, I believe it was. I think it was Jarren Duran, unless I'm totally blanking. I'm pretty sure it was Jarren Duran, but that is an exciting moment. Now, I think the thing about that is like that can happen and you can miss it. Like that's something where like you really got to be paying attention and you might miss it. Whereas like some of these other ones, like obviously you're going to know what is happening. So I guess my big picture takeaway is I think you are still underrating stealing home and you're underrating triple plays.
Fair takeaway.
I've seen a walk-off home run, not a walk-off grand slam, the Cows to send us to the playoffs, and that was, other than watching Julio go nuts at the Derby, that's the hypest I've ever been watching.
I should have had walk-off home run as its own separate. I wouldn't have it like top 3, but it should deserve its own because it is a cool thing to see in a park, right? Like just a big bang. A big bang to end the game. Jordan, tell us what can we expect from you this week?
Yeah, so I'm in full draft mode, to be honest. I'm working on my draft rankings, which will come out. My top 50 will come out early next week. And yeah, we're just in all-star planning mode, trade deadline mode, getting ready to head down to Atlanta. I am, of course, very excited to see Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby and also just in the All-Star game, which, of course, he will be there. So I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, just in full all-star planning mode. I wrote about all the billion Dodgers pitchers yesterday, so you can go check that out. But otherwise, yeah, just keep an eye on Yahoo Sports and listen to Baseball Barbercast.
He is Jordan Shusterman. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
I don't like this pattern of good news for the Astros, good news for the Rams.
Yeah.
First down, what's good news for the Rams and bad news for the rest of the NFC West?
We're hearing that outside linebacker Byron Young is on point, and ESPN put together a list of surprise players or players that could surprise each team, right? And he's rostered. And they talked about Byron Young. He had 15 and a half sacks the past 2 seasons. When the biggest surprise player on your team is someone who's already been there, that's going to be a problem. We always talk about the box that the Rams have with Verse and Fisk and Kobe Turner, whatnot. Now you throw Byron Young into the mix. I had to go back and watch some of his film, and he reminds me of a Chinonwosu type of player. Long arms, very strong, explosive. Isn't too great when it comes to pass coverage, and when he gets into the flat, he gets confused a bit. His eyes go where they're not supposed to go, but he's not paid to drop into the flat. He's paid to get after the quarterback. So if this is true, if Byron Young's going to have a step up another year, it's going to be tough, man. The Rams just look better and better inside that box. Everything else has to work for them. But when you hear a young man going to his 3rd year, getting better and better and better, it's bad news for the rest of the division.
Second down. Clint Kubiak had a gadget player in Taysom Hill last year with the Saints. Is that player on the roster now?
I think it is, but I think it comes in 2 players. I think that Arroyo is a gadget player. He's a guy who you can attach to the line of scrimmage. You see Kubiak's offense. He also lines up in the backfield with his tight ends. He motions them across. He can be in the slot. He can be on the outside. Sub Taysom Hill did. Taysom Hill was everywhere. Line of scrimmage, outside, in the box, tight end, running back, quarterback. The other gadget player has to be Jalen Milroe. They're going to have packages for him. They're going to have packages where he's lined up as the option mobile quarterback, but he's going to be able to throw the football. So now imagine a package where you have Milroe in the game and you have Arroyo in the game. The more film I watched, what game did I watch? I watched the Saints versus, was it New England? I think New England last year. Maybe that was Rams. Anyway, I was watching film before the show started, and I'm picturing the personnel that Kubiak has right now. And I guarantee you, I'm guaranteeing there's going to be a package where Milroe's at the quarterback or Royals at the tight end or in the slot, and there's going to be some type of trickery going on there, some type of confusion. Kubiak loves to off-balance the formation, meaning more guys to one side than the other side. You pull back to the other side. You got running backs crossing the face going that way. Things that confuse the second level, the linebackers and safeties when it comes to just play calling. So, yeah, I think that's going to go down, and I'm excited to see it. I guarantee you there's going to be a package with Milroe and Arroyo in there at the same time.
Third down. Who do you feel has an opportunity to gain more value in this offense?
So with the Saints, Alvin Kamara did everything for him. I believe he was their second or first leading receiver over there, as well as running the football. So what that means is you're going to need your running backs to be able to receive the football. Ken Walker in college, had 19 receptions, 136 yards total. Charbonnet had 75 for 589. Martinez had 32 for 391. Guess who's back in the chat? Kenny McIntosh. We keep forgetting about him. 76 receptions, 861 yards, 505 his senior year. I went back. I watched his film. He had 107 yards against Oregon. He had 96 receiving yards against Georgia Tech. Against Oregon, it wasn't just catching the football off the backfield. He's lined up in the slot, working on linebackers and safeties. They moved him out to the outside, throwing him screens. He's comfortable running routes. I think he needs to pick up the tempo a little bit when he comes to running his routes, because a lot of this stuff is a bit more timing and slow. But listen, if there's a chance for Kenny McIntosh to reestablish himself, we thought he did it last year a little bit because he got a few more carries because of Ken Walker being out. This is his opportunity, because when it comes to running routes and catching the football, he's the best running back the Seahawks have that does that. Ken Walker can catch the football. We've seen that. Martinez can as well. So can Charbonnet. But this would be Kenny McIntosh's time to shine. Make Kubiak throw you the dang football. Bring some value. Go get it.
Fourth down. ESPN ESPN listed a surprise Seahawks player. Who is it, and do you believe it's actually going to hold up?
All right, before I tell you one more time, big ups to my grandma. She missed it the first time. Grandma Love in Mississippi, the Woodruff family down there. Appreciate you guys watching. Love you guys. Mwah. All right. They're saying Anthony Bradford. Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes are going to battle it out. And I know that's not exciting. I know that Seahawks fans are saying, what? Imoroye?
Like a breakout player? Like
surprise player. Someone that's going to give you production. You're not expected to give you production. And it better be one of those two, honestly.
Yeah.
Because unless they bring in Scherf or someone else, a veteran right guard or left guard to kind of compete, you need one of these two guys to step up and be that surprise player. Christian Haynes drafted in the 3rd round. Had some development issues. Hopefully he's bigger, faster, stronger, has the game down. Anthony Bradford has always been a big human being. With him, after speaking to Big Ray and all the powers that be, it's more technique. He'll show up one play, he'll disappear the next. I hate seeing when linemen have their feet together. Whenever a lineman has their feet together, they're out of position. No one in football should be standing there with your feet together. That means your body's all out of position. We saw that a few times with Anthony Bradford, but he flashes and he shows that he can get it done. At first, I was kind of disappointed that they said, okay, Christian Haynes and Anthony Bradford are going to be your surprise players. And then I think to myself, that's what you need. You need one of these guys to step up and own that position if they don't bring in a veteran. But I still think they're going to bring in a veteran to compete with these guys. So Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes, ESPN says, will be your surprise players.
Going back to one of your previous questions, this one was about like a gadget player, a really versatile player on this offense. You listed Elijah Arroyo and Jalen Milroe and said, man, I'd love to see like what a play would look like with both of those guys in there. Someone said, what about Horton as a gadget player? Do we just not know enough about him as a Seahawk yet? He hasn't played it down as a Seahawk.
Well, he's just a receiver.
Right.
You know, you're not going to line him up in the backfield. You're not going to put his hand in the dirt next to the offensive line. A gadget player does multiple things, and that's what Arroyo can do off top, and that's what Jalen Milroe can do. Horton, to me, is just a really good receiver who has a chance to make the ball clip. So I wouldn't call him a gadget guy, but I think he can be the guy to stretch the football field and get those 20, 25-yard gains.
Someone else said, not only am I leaving out immaculate inning, but someone said, I was part of a triple play, top sports memory of my life in high school. Maybe I did underrate triple play.
I mean, it's tough.
I really didn't give defense enough love. I've never seen it in person. I've never seen it in person.
No,
I've seen it on like YouTube clips of like best defensive player, triple play compilation. But yeah, I've never seen it in person ever. So maybe Jordan's right. Maybe I underrated inside the park home run and triple play as just things that you don't see. And I thought, well, it's not a perfect
I feel like
game.
I see it inside the park home run several times a year, though.
What?
You don't, I mean, you just watch SportsCenter.
Yeah, I guess.
I want to say Ellie De La Cruz had like 2 or 3 last year.
I've never seen one in person ever, and I would lose my mind.
You know where I've seen it? Little League. Happens all the time, Little League.
Seattle's getting a new statue. That's next. We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
If you're going to get tossed meatballs and stuff, all you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
21 days until Seahawks training camp, and Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you got to look at it in a new way, like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, taking a look around baseball to start here. A new name has emerged as potential trade talks. A's starting pitcher Luis Severino has found his name in trade talks this week. Many more wondering if it's because of recent comments he made about the A's ballpark in Sacramento. Now, plenty of people are criticizing where the A's are playing, what they're doing as a franchise, as an organization in general. So he's not the only one, but it comes from a player, and suddenly it's different. This says from an article, why has he been so much better on the road? And then he says, because we play in a big league stadium on the road. Is he wrong?
He ain't wrong.
He said, we don't have that at home right now. It's not the same. It's not the same atmosphere. We don't have a lot of fans. Our clubhouse is in left field. So when we play day games, we have to just be in the sun. There's no air conditioning there, too. It's really tough. Severino was then asked to further clarify his comments the other night and said this.
I mean, if they trade me or not, I'm gonna keep grinding, trying to be my best self, going out there. I can't do nothing about it when they get mad or not. That's not. I just say what it is. I'm not gonna go out there. If you ask me how I feel pitching at home, I'm not gonna lie to you because at the end, you guys gonna figure out if it's a lie or not. So my job is here to try to pitch, and every time you ask me a question, be honest with you guys. So that's what I did. I was not trying to, hurt nobody's feelings about saying that. But I think, I'm not the only one who feels the same way.
Severino signed a 3-year, $67 million deal with the A's this past offseason. Bump, your thoughts?
He's not lying. Just people don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. People don't want to hear, I don't know how much he's making, but he's been in the majors for what? Let's say 10 years now. All right, this is a veteran who is used to certain conditions when they play. Some football, when I used to play in college, right, we used to walk the football field before each game to kind of see where the divots are and all that stuff. Like, where are the flaws on this field? Because this is college ball. It's week 7, 8. The field's going to be jacked up a little bit in some areas. UCLA, worst field ever. Don't let
I've heard only bad things about UCLA and their locker room.
It's not a great field. But we used to walk it. I get to the NFL. Dude's like, what you doing? I go, I'm walking the field. Like, this is the league, baby. The field's going to be in great shape.
Yeah.
So he's coming from a place to where he's used to certain conditions. If you were a rookie or a second or third year guy, it'd be a bit different. Like, listen, man, you just got here. Shut up and play some ball.
Right.
But he's like, look, my body's used to this. Like right now, I am used to wearing hoodies almost every single day out here in the Pacific Northwest because it don't get no hotter than about 85 to me, and I can wear a hoodie in 85. Growing up in Cali, I couldn't wear a hoodie every day because it gets super hot. I'm conditioned now to this environment, so therefore I can wear hoodies every day. That's essentially what he's saying. I'm used to certain conditions. I'm uncomfortable. It is what it is. He's a 10-year vet. I ain't mad at you, dog. Say what you say, and it's the truth. You're not playing in a big league ballpark.
You can't be. First of all, he's not talking about his teammates. He's not talking about guys giving up. He's not talking about even saying, like, we have bad fans. There's none of that. He's just saying the atmosphere I'm playing in isn't great. If you had a Mariners player that said, it's hard to hit here. Like, I'm not used to it. It's weird watching. And you've heard versions of this from both Jesse Winker. I think Teoscar Hernandez maybe hinted at this. I'm used to certain balls that I hit leaving the park, and you watch them and they kind of fall, and you're wondering what's happening. Would you have your feelings hurt if someone said that about your park? Don't take it personally. This guy doesn't love playing in a minor league park in front of barely any fans. It's not something he's used to. And if I was a professional athlete, which I've never been, but Bump, you have talked about this, the crowd feeds into a lot of the energy you have. You can feed off of the crowd. When there's no crowd or it's, kind of like a non-existent bad atmosphere, you're not really feeling it as much. I mean, you still got to be in the game, but like I would imagine that would affect a starter.
Stanford is the worst football environment in the country right now. We played there in 2007 when they just opened that stadium. I kid you not, 2,000 people there. It changes everything. It feels like a scrimmage. You don't get hyped up for it. Mentally, you got to take yourself to a different place. Those are the facts of the situation. I ain't mad at them.
Yeah.
If they trade him because of that, they're soft.
I just, someone texted in, he knew that before he signed. I mean, maybe the experience is different than you thought. Or maybe you signed because it was a good deal. You thought that you could play well there. And then you're being asked, hey, why do you play better on the road? And your honest answer is, well, I kind of feed off the crowd and the atmosphere, and I happen to prefer that. How is that bad?
And I'm not sitting in the sun.
Uh-huh. Next up, the Storm have officially announced a statue for who else? Sue Bird. It'll be unveiled at Climate Pledge Arena on Sunday, August 17th. You don't even have to wait that long, just over a month.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going down, right? One of the greatest WNBA players of all time, played in 580 games, all of them with Seattle. This is protocol. We knew this was going down.
Absolutely, as it should. Can't wait for that to happen again. Sunday, August 17th is when that's going to be unveiled. Next up, the Detroit News investigated how much financial trouble Pistons guard Malik Beasley is in amid an FBI investigation into alleged game fixing. According to Detroit News, Malik Beasley has racked up nearly $8 million in debt. It says he was sued in Detroit's 36th District Court for failing to pay $14,150 in rent at the Stott, a historic high-rise apartment building in downtown Detroit. He was sued again by that same complex for failing to pay over $7,000 in rent. A hearing is scheduled for July 15th. In January, a celebrity barbershop with a long roster of NBA stars won a $26,000 judgment against Beasley. And meanwhile, back in January, a Minnesota dentist, this is where I'm stumped, a Minnesota dentist won a $34,000 default judgment against Beasley. He started garnishing Beasley's paychecks from the Pistons back in February. The debt has not been satisfied. My guy. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 separate things you got going on here. 2 with an apartment complex, 1 with a barbershop, 1 with a dentist. You got to pay your bills, man.
Nah, he don't have that automatic withdrawal. You know, he wants to do it himself. And the allegations against him are crazy. Have you seen the videos of him looking like he's throwing these games? There's late in the game with the Pistons. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to drop that pass, but it looked kind of funny. There's another situation where he's playing defense, lets the defender or the offender blow right by him. There's another instance where the spread is like 7.5 or something like that. There's 3 seconds left. The game is over. He rushes down, dunks the basketball. He's got some shady activity going on, man. I hope you got a good lawyer.
Let's see. Do we have time? Yeah, we have time for our last one here. Paul Feinbaum, massive SEC fan, is buying the Arch Manning hype more than anyone else.
I think there's a reasonably good chance that Arch Manning will be sitting on the front row in New York at the Heisman ceremony. That's assuming that his team does what it's supposed to do and compete for not only the SEC, but for the national championship. And I really believe they will. I think Steve Sarkisian, who's one of the most amazing play callers I've ever seen, made a critical mistake late in the year. He was way too loyal to Quinn Ewers, who was banged up and was really ineffective. Had Arch Manning been instituted in the second half of that game, I think there's a reasonably good chance that Texas would have beaten Ohio State and won the national championship. They're very capable of doing it again this year. I believe also that Arch Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow entered the scene in 2006.
Obviously, that last part of his statement is the one getting a lot of attention. Do you agree?
Let me preface my comment with a question. Who does Feinbaum cover? SEC. All right. Who does Arch Manning play for? Texas. Who is in the SEC? I think Arch Manning is a great quarterback. I think he will be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Do we forget what Tim Tebow did when he was in college? Like, he controlled football games.
Insane.
He took games over. He wasn't the best quarterback. He was the best football player on the field at all times. So we'll see what Arch Manning looks like. I also think that Sarkisian is a great play caller. I think that there might be and probably is some truth when it comes to Feinbaum, but when you are just riding the SEC wagon for years and years and years, it's going to be met with some pushback. I don't see any quarterback that's better than Arch Manning in the country right now. I will give him that, and I hope he has all that success. It's just Feinbaum. I want to hear him support any other player, any other conference, just one time, and then maybe when he speaks, it'll hold a bit more weight, even though I know that Arch Manning is the best quarterback in the country.
Tim Tebow accounted for 42 combined touchdowns in 2008.
In his Heisman Trophy winning season, he had over 50 combined touchdowns.
And not to mention 2 titles, obviously.
Like, come on.
You know
Archie ain't throwing for 50-something touchdowns.
No, you know what I think has happened with Tim Tebow? And I don't know why it annoys me a bit that this happens. I think that there are people who take away from the legacy or greatness of some of the best, most dominant college athletes we've ever seen if they didn't succeed in the pros. If you did not go to the NFL and become a first-team All-Pro or a Hall of Famer or a regular Pro Bowler, then it's, Reggie Bush didn't end up. I don't care. Reggie Bush is the best college player I've ever seen. Well, Tim Tebow never ended up becoming a Super Bowl winning. I don't care. I don't care.
Still took a struggling Denver team to the playoffs and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
These guys are some of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen, and I think it's just people needing like any football knowledge they come from. It has to be from like a Hall of Famer. I just don't believe it. Let me tell you what, Tim Tebow knows a ton about the game. He was probably the best college quarterback we've ever seen. Not everyone does that. I just find that sometimes people have detracted from either how knowledgeable or reputable or great those guys are, or their legacy gets lost with time. You know what I mean? Like
Feinbaum should know better.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow was in the SEC. You love the SEC.
Another MLB insider has Alex Bregman linked to the Mariners. That's next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
The NFL basically now on hiatus. What do players, coaches, what does everybody do now?
But this is like, okay, we've been back at it, the majority of the guys, since mid-March, early March. You ramp it all the way up, and then now we got to just put it back in the freezer for 5 weeks. We didn't do all this work for the last 3 months for you to go spend a month drinking Busch Lights and getting away from everything.
Every day at 7:45, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Lowe's knows how to set off your July 4th with savings. Right now, buy one, get one free on select one-coat coverage interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get 2 select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for just $10. Hurry, these July 4th deals won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for more details.
Get ready to rock with Bret Michaels at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, July 10th. Rock and roll rebel Bret Michaels. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Bret Michaels rocks your world, July 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help, call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacy Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at WOISeattle.org. That's WOISeattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com. That's PremierGolfCenters.com and book your tee time today.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The other day, we got a column by Adam Jude in the Seattle Times saying that Alex Bregman, the Red Sox, could potentially be a target for the Mariners at the deadline. Another MLB insider has Bregman linked to the M's. This is from Jim Bowden's latest column in The Athletic. He says, Alex Bregman, obviously third baseman for the Red Sox, was another shocking name to me, but some execs believe the Red Sox could move on from Bregman at the trade deadline if they can't extend him by then. Bregman and his agent, Scott Boras, have told the Red Sox they're open to signing a long-term extension now, but if the two sides can't work out a deal, don't be surprised if Boston trades him to either the Tigers or Mariners at the deadline. I'll say one thing is that people have generally assumed fairly, not only that Boras likes to have his players test free agency, but that Boras and the Mariners maybe aren't going to be the best interaction there. That said, I'm intrigued by yet another very well-connected person saying Bregman to the Mariners could be a possibility.
Yeah, I think it seems like the last couple of seasons, the Mariners have been in this position to where they are positioned to be one of the higher bidders, I guess, when it comes to picking up these guys. But the thing that I think might deter the Mariners from going after Bregman, he has 3 years, $120 million left on his deal, and he has an opt-out clause. So he can get up out of here when he wants to, essentially. So what you're doing is you're rolling the dice and hoping that there's enough here to make him want to stay. And how is this organization, this city, this ballpark perceived by these ball players, right? We know it's hard to hit here. We know that it's a pitcher-friendly deal. We know that management doesn't necessarily break the bank for people over here. So I think there are a lot of things that could work against getting a guy like Bregman to want to stay, but I also think that it's worth a try because there's a window that they have here that was open a bit more last year. The window closed a bit more this year because you became mortal. You got guys being hurt in the rotation. You have Julio not ascending as quickly as you would like him to ascend, and you're dependent on young guys at the bottom of the order to kind of work these things out. When you look at this team as a whole, I doubt that players look at this team and say, championship team ready to go, right? It's a team with a rotation that is great, that have superstar potential in some areas, but nothing is set. And I think that that's going to be one of the challenges added to the Mariners when it comes to going after rentals or a guy like Bregman and hoping that he wants to stay here.
I'll just say this. For the Mariners to make the playoffs this year, they need to add offense. They are desperately in need of maybe a corner infielder, What if I told you, okay, well, hey, what about a third baseman who's got playoff experience? Yes, he's on the IL, but it's not season ending. He'll be back. And Ian was mentioning as a Red Sox fan, hopefully somewhat soon. He's slashing .299, .385, .553 with 11 home runs. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what you need. The price point isn't where you'd want it to be. Bump, you mentioned, thank you, that he's probably not going to be some long-term answer for you. You're looking at a guy that's going to stay here and then want to test the market or take that opt-out. Okay. I'm sorry. Do you want to punt on the season because you're 7 games back of the Astros on, let me check my calendar, July 2nd? Again, loser mentality. I keep diagnosing left and right. I'm giving out prescriptions, and the prescription is adding something at the deadline. What if that answers Bregman?
That's the hardest thing, I think, for fans is they want championships and they want it now, but they're afraid to do what might be necessary to put yourself in that position, which is make a move like this. It's scary. I know it's scary. Putting yourself out there, being vulnerable. I get all that stuff, right? I've been there. 39. If you were born in 2000, don't tell me how to live, okay? But that's the scary part about building championship teams on a budget, because you feel like because you have that budget that the Mariners have, that they have to hit on every single move. At least it feels like you have to hit. We were just talking to Shusterman, and he said there are some moves for the Astros that haven't hit. They just haven't hit. But you know what? They make more moves, and a lot of the times these moves do hit. They're not afraid to go out there and try to acquire talent to get you to that next step. With the Mariners, it's a bit different. The budget is different. The talent is different. And you can't rely on free agents wanting to come here.
No.
Because this isn't a desirable place when it comes to hitters.
That. Yeah. That's what I can't get over is like we keep talking in circles. And by we, I mean royal we when it comes to the Mariners, everyone covering this team, everyone who's fans of these teams. We keep getting back to the same places. Great farm system. Hasn't worked out. You got Julio, and he'll save your team. Well, where is he? You've got Cal, who's leading the league in home runs, having an MVP caliber season. Is he even going to see the playoffs? Is he going to tire out before them because he's your best bat? You can't give him a day off because when he's not going to catch for you, he's still got a DH, or you worry you're not going to be able to drive runners in? At some point, you have to get better as a team.
Tell me this. What do you say to this?
Okay.
Guys, this team is not a Bregman move away from being a contender. A 2-month rental does nothing.
I disagree. I think if you become a better offense for 2 or 3 months, you have a chance to win your division, or at the very least, set yourself apart in a very crowded wild card race. Why would you not want to get to the playoffs? I don't understand that mentality. It could not be me. I cannot understand the idea of it's not worth trying to get to the playoffs. You're not giving up your farm for Bregman. That's not how this is working. That's not what's happening.
You still need other things to happen. No one's asking a guy like Bregman to come in and save the day. You need Cal to keep balling. You need Julio to step up a bit. JP continue to get on base. Bottom of the order. Generate some traffic so we can drive you in. It's not just saying Bregman's going to save the day. No, it's a team sport. The rotation needs to be healthy. Emerson needs to bounce back when he's called back up. No, it's not as – no one's saying that Bregman is the guy. No one's saying that.
No, absolutely not. But what I'm saying is whether it's Bregman, who I'd be comfortable with being here in Seattle, or whether it's someone else, I would like this team to be a little more aggressive and continue to add this season. I don't know about you guys. I don't love not making the playoffs. I had a ton of fun with it when this team was in the playoffs. Now, if you're someone, let's say you're someone that doesn't care about winning. Let's say you're someone that doesn't, you're fine not being in the playoffs. Maybe you're comfortable with that. Great. That's you. I would like to see this team become a playoff team, and they're not right now. They're simply not. Does anyone genuinely think this team is a shoo-in for the playoffs? Please raise your hand. No? What are they missing? Ian, what are they missing?
Strong bat at third base.
Curtis, what are they missing?
Starting pitching.
Bump, what are they missing?
Julio.
Exactly. 3 different answers, and all of them are right.
Come on now.
This team's missing a couple pieces, so go get them. And I know that this is what makes it really tricky and why I'm very grateful I'm not Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander. There are not a lot of sellers out there. Not only were there not a lot to begin with, but some of the teams that were borderline sellers have been playing better. It's really tough. You might have to add a piece you're uncomfortable with or make a deal you're uncomfortable with. But if there ever was a year for an up-and-down Mariners team to try to get to the playoffs, it's in a year in which the Astros offense is not that great, to be frank. It's in a year where the Rangers do not have a good offense. it's in a year where the entire American League has like two teams that are really separating themselves. I know the Astros just got to 50 wins, but they were the hottest team in June. Like, if there ever was a season, it's this season. You're going to waste Cal's season? I'm sorry. I can't get behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So either get comfortable with Bregman or get comfortable with being uncomfortable to make some other move. Or get comfortable with losing.
It might not necessarily be Bregman
get comfortable
either.
with losing.
Just get comfortable with the idea that it could be Bregman.
Exactly. Well said. The latest from Jeff Passan next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline. You think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects? I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. Well, that puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the nation. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
When the heat's an 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net. Some AC you'll be loving
when your house is an oven.
dayandnight.net.
Northwest summers are beautiful, but there's always a long hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't sweat through another summer. Have Day and Night keep your house cool and comfortable by installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
When the summer is cooking,
we're the place to be looking.
dayandnight.net. Stay cool this summer with Day and Night. Call now to get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
dayandnight.net.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Progressive's Teen Driver discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's Teen Driver discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them. Endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states and subject to terms and conditions.
The countdown is on.
21 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners dropped Game 2 to the Royals last night, 6-3. Top of the order went 1 for 12. Cal Raleigh struck out 4 times. Game 3 of a 4-game series is today at 6:40 p.m. It's Logan Gilbert on the mound against Noah Cameron. Pregame at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
We're not done talking trade deadline. The latest from Jeff Passan on with Brian Walters and Brock Heward this morning. Here's Jeff. We aren't going to talk about Bregman the entire time. We just got a couple cuts, and then we got Cal and Julio. Jeff Passan on the Mariners trading for Bregman.
I think there's a question of could versus should versus would. Could they? Sure. They have the money to do it. They have the prospects to do it. They have the motivation to do it. And for that reason, should they? Absolutely, they should. Alex Bregman is potentially the most impactful guy to move at this deadline. And if you're a Seattle Mariners team that's kind of treading water right now, you know, in a playoff spot, but clearly weaknesses, and the most striking of those weaknesses right now, third base, then yes, you should. Would they? I mean, we get back to the same question that we do every offseason. Would the Mariners go out and spend real money on a guy who's going to improve their team? And up to this point, they have not shown a willingness to do that.
Let's talk about that kind of money, and then I'll throw this your way, Bump. First, you mentioned this earlier, but Jeff Passan talking about that opt-out.
Now, yes, Brock, he can opt out after this season. But, man, if he doesn't, that's $40 million a year for next season, with the ability to opt into another $40 million in the 2027 season. And it's just not John Stanton's style to do that. So I'm not trying to pigeonhole an owner here and say that he would not do that. I'm just saying history tells us he would not do that.
Now, there's a couple other things to consider here, which is also, are you willing to take on Bregman's salary, that potential $40 million per year, while also trying to extend Gilbert and Kirby?
Are you willing to do it? It's I love the way he maneuvers through this conversation.
Delicately.
He's like, should they? Sure, of course they should. And he said that Bregman is the biggest piece that could be moved this offseason, right? Mm-hmm. Last year, Randy was the biggest piece that could be moved during the trade deadline. But my man's only getting about $11 million. We're talking about Randy. You're talking about $40 million a year trying to convince Randy to come back and be a part of this. Or you're picking up the bill for the rest of the year for a rental. So there's some similarities in the situation when you look at Randy Rosarena last year's move, and Bregman. The biggest disparity is what? The money, right? What is going to cost to retain this talent? And that is where things get a little clouded. Or maybe they get clear. Maybe they're clear because we know that or feel that the Mariners don't like doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just like Castillo, Robbie Ray, and Arozarena, they're all on my wish list. Like, man, if this could happen, that'd be great. I don't think they're going to do it. They end up doing it. But when you're talking about Bregman, a guy that's going to require $40 million, and still you got to convince him to stay. He's got that opt-out clause as well. It almost feels like the Mariners don't want to put in that work. Like, it's too much work. Let's just go with an easier option and hope that these guys continue to get better. Should they make the move, it is the best move that you can make. Regardless of how you feel about what he did with the Astros, this is the best move the team can make. But because of that $40 million, I don't think it's going down.
I also feel like, first of all, apologies to Stanton and Mariners ownership. I'm speaking from a point of view where it's not my money, so it's easier for me to say this, right?
Way
Like,
easier.
I understand it's much easier for me to say this. Given that it's not my money, it is easier for me to look at this team and go, I want to see this team in the playoffs. And you don't get, as a team at the deadline, and this is the real difficulty that Justin and Jerry face, you don't get to go to the fully loaded grocery store and pick what you need for your team.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to, a clearance rack or, a tough situation where you just got to find something and trying to find a piece that can help you for a price that's potentially risky or even like a short-term thing.
Yeah.
However, that's just the nature of the trade deadline. So for anyone saying, I think Bregman is overpriced for what you're getting would technically be your best average on the team. So I don't know if you were hoping that you could go get Aaron Rodgers at the deadline. It's just not going to happen. You're getting a guy that's hitting $299. And I know that that's a lot of money to spend, but that's kind of the deal that you're making. This is the deal with the devil situation you got at the deadline. You're giving something up that probably makes you uncomfortable. You're taking on an inherent risk, a player that's currently on the IL, but you're getting a better bat, and you need a better bat. You need a better I don't mean this about Williamson's defense, which has been great, just made 2 great plays the other day. You could use a corner infielder. What are we doing? I get it if you're like, I don't love Bregman, but just if you're talking about just the concept of adding offense, I'm sorry, but you're not going to go find an all-star, pluck him off another team. The Royals aren't sending Bobby Witt Jr. your way.
Why not? I like Bobby.
I love Bobby.
I'd love for Bobby to come play
Seems
for us.
like a nice guy.
Here's the thing, too, is you mentioned Williamson. Like, what does it do to him and his development?
Like if you were to add a third
right?
baseman?
You bring a third baseman in. Williamson seems like he's turning the corner. Like the blinker is on. He's approaching the turn.
Fair.
Now he's got to commit, right? And I think that's going to be part of their thought process as well. And that's fine if that's a part of your thought process. But does Williamson give you the better chance to win right now over Bregman? I don't think so. And the risk is Bregman can come here and not hit. He could come here and be horrible defensively, and people who are the naysayers who don't want Bregman are going to stand up tall and say, I told you so, I told you so. And I would be able to deal with that if I were the Mariners organization because, yeah, you can say you're right. There's always going to be someone who's right in this situation, but you can no longer fault us for not trying to make a swing and really go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think they need to be comfortable with, but I don't think they are comfortable with that. I think that it's always about the safe move, in which I understand because that's typically the way that I live my life. I'm not reckless when it comes to stuff. Like I calculate, I kind of plan things out and risk reward. I get it. But I'm also not in charge of a company or an organization that's been to one playoff game in X amount of years. ETA, Elite Training Academy, we win championships every year. You know what I mean? So I don't have that pressure. I let my coaches coach, they do their thing. But with the Mariners, you got to get uncomfortable here, man. And you got to be okay with people pointing the finger because they're already pointing the finger at you and saying you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough. And I doubt they even worry about what we say and what other people say. But it's just it's time to switch things up. If you have a legit chance to go get Bregman, you got to take a swing at it. If you don't get him, you don't get him. Then you move on, and you understand you're only as good as what's out there.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your options, and he's your best option.
Did I say Aaron Rodgers and not Aaron Judge?
I think you did say Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my bad.
But honestly, I thought that I felt it as like you're not going to get an Aaron Rodgers.
And sometimes a shot bounces off the rim. You just got to keep going through. You got to keep powering through. You know what I mean?
It made sense to me though. I was like, yeah,
put your head down, embrace the contact, get an and one.
Picking up what I was putting down.
Yeah.
You knew I meant Aaron Judge. I totally blanked on that.
I thought you meant Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to get an Aaron Rodgers.
You were like, you're cooking though.
Yeah.
Keep cooking.
Keep going.
Someone said, what about Geno Suarez? I am 100% in on Geno Suarez. It would be my favorite addition for this team at the deadline. I just don't know if they can do it.
Yeah, how do the Cardinals view themselves right now? They're 2.5 out of the third playoff spot over there in the National League. So they're still in the fight.
I think they should give up.
You think they should give up? Just throw in the towel?
I'm going to issue them a loser mentality prescription.
You should. You diagnose a lot of people with that today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna tell them not to take any medication for it.
No medication.
Just embrace the loser mentality for this season.
Just deal with the pain.
Yeah.
No, I think they're too close in the playoff race to really think about trading Naylor or Geno Suarez, even though that would be a great addition.
I think, yeah, they need offense. I like the Bregman conversation. First of all, I've said it again, and I don't mean to speak for you, Bump, but I'm assuming you feel the same. That like if Bregman was here, it's like, cool, another bat. Like, let's see what he can do. Even though it's a complicated situation, you kind of recognize the reality of where the Mariners are as well. But I like the Bregman conversation mostly as a launching point for how aggressive you want your team to be, what risk-taking should look like at the deadline, and he's just kind of a perfect trade target to frame that around, because he could potentially bring you exactly what you need. Will it be enough? Would you pay him that much? Here's the risk with that. I just like it.
What did you say that the Red Sox need right now though?
They need a catcher.
Oh.
And they need arms.
Interesting.
Because Mariners have a couple of those.
Exactly.
The other thing is rentals are like not a bad thing. Remember how awesome it was having Justin Turner? Like Cal Raleigh has basically credited Justin Turner with like the offensive explosion that he's had this year. If Bregman is sitting down with Williamson, like he's been doing this for Marcelo Meyer, the Red Sox rookie third baseman. Basically, him and Ben Williamson have had very similar trajectories throughout their early career. He's with them on the iPad every single day in the dugout, teaching them different stuff. They're going through mechanics together. Like, even if he's only here for half a season, that could be a launching pad for Williamson, learning from a veteran how to play in the big leagues, how to get himself ready, and that sort of thing.
We got a couple other things here from Jeff Passan. Let's lighten it up and talk a bit about Cal, and then we'll get to Julio, fan frustration.
My bad.
Around Julio.
Apparently I said Cardinals and not Diamondbacks. I guess we're both slipping today.
You know what? Listen, it is 12:12 p.m.
Oh, man.
We have 20 hours a week, mostly right now, talking about the Mariners. It's just going to happen.
My bad, Diamondbacks. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Whatever.
Gosh darn it.
All right. Let's get to Jeff Passan talking about Cal Raleigh. Here's getting excited for Cal to be in the Home Run Derby.
I'm just excited that the rest of the country, those who maybe haven't understood what Cal Raleigh has done in this half are going to hear about it all weekend and all week at the All-Star game. Like, this is going to be, I'm not going to say coming out party nationally because, social media does its thing, and I think baseball fans know who Cal Raleigh is. You see it in the All-Star vote, like he's going to be the starter at catcher. All of those things are great, but it's really just going to be a chance to get a spotlight on him in the Derby, starting in the game and likely batting among the top four, in this absolutely stacked lineup that the American League's going to have, and getting flowers that are much deserved.
Absolutely, yes, 100%. But my question for you is this. It's a weird one.
Okay.
Does Cal Raleigh being in the Derby, especially should he kind of meet the moment and much like Julio did, kind of emerge on a national platform to a new audience, does that put pressure on the Mariners front office?
You would think it would, but I think those guys are different, man. I think they have their group of owners, group of leaders, and they are so tight in what they believe and how they move that they don't allow anyone who thinks differently to infiltrate that system, and they move along together. it should apply pressure. Julio, 2 years in a row, put on a great performance, once in L.A., once here at T-Mobile, and maybe that applied some pressure to go get Randy. You know, who knows what the cause and effect was of that. We know that the team was close enough to being a playoff team. They felt pressure that way. But you would think that the more eyes that are on Seattle, the more voices, national voices that are talking about this team would incline you to enhance the profile of this ball club with a player like Bregman or the next best thing out there. I hope it would, but I couldn't say that it will.
I think, here's one more. Yes, we are getting back to Bregman, but here's one more on Cal getting intentionally walked more and what you can kind of do to work around it.
The intentional walk is not quite what it used to be, though we did see earlier this week James Wood with the Washington Nationals get intentionally walked 4 times. We have seen Aaron Judge get intentionally walked now and then. But to your point, we don't really see it very often with Shohei Ohtani. And why is that? Because like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are lurking there. When you got that kind of protection behind you, you're not going to get intentionally walked. And right now, I wouldn't say that Cal Raleigh has that kind of protection behind him necessarily, but I'll say this. I don't know what the lineup would look like with Bregman in it. Bregman probably would hit in front of Cal, actually. But having any sort of superior protection than he's got right now would mitigate any desire from teams to potentially intentionally walk him.
Did you just hear that? Oh, my God. Hang on. Let me get the door. Oh, here it is. Another reason to sign Alex Bregman. Wow. Just now entering the conversation is yet another interesting twist on, hey, here's why you make this kind of risk at the deadline. If it's not Bregman, maybe it's the closest thing you can get to that. I know some people are like, no Bregman ever under any circumstances. You need to add for myriad reasons, and one of them is a new one. It's not the one you started the year with, not having enough offense. It's a new one where one guy has too much, and he's going to get intentionally walked.
Do you know what you do as a defense when a team can just run the snot out the football?
What?
You load the box. You force them to do something else, right? You force them to get out of their game. And that's what teams are going to start doing. Ain't nobody else a threat in this lineup. You know what? Kyle, go ahead. Take your base, dog. Go ahead and take your base.
Put them on.
We ain't worried about anybody
fine.
else's league. Apply some pressure, please.
I do have one on Julio. I know you're going to want to sound off on this. Well, I know that we all kind of have Julio fatigue at the same time. It's because it's the obvious answer as to what this team needs. Jeff Passan on Julio's biggest problem.
I think ultimately it probably goes back to the plate discipline. I mean, over the last 7, he has not walked, right? And so we'll see those weeks where it's like, Julio's going to be at his best when he does something that he's never done before, and that something is like a 350 plus on base percentage. If he can get there and get a little more power, he's in the MVP conversation because the defense in center field is so good.
Do you think, and he's right about the defense and cutting those strikeouts down, but do you see from Julio a lack of patience, a lack of discipline at the plate?
At times, yeah. Julio is he's got like schizophrenia or something in the box.
Like you see 2 different
Yeah,
Julios?
like sometimes first pitch, I go, here it comes. No matter where that thing is, he is swinging. And then every now and then he'll lay off and he'll battle. He'll have some patience. And, I see 2 different players at times. And I also think that both players are capable because when he does swing early, I forgot what his numbers are now, but at least a couple of weeks ago, he was swinging at like 53% of the first pitches and making good contact at times.
Yeah.
There are some times where you want him to be patient and work the count and just put the ball into play. I think both players are necessary. So good luck to Julio, and hopefully Stacy can diagnose you with some stuff.
I really need to stop handing out so many prescriptions for loser mentality and Rex. Sometimes I have loser mentality. It's a disease we can all come down with. You know what I mean? It's like you just get it so easily. Sometimes you're just like, oh,
just beat up.
I don't know if I want to go to the gym. What's the point if I'm getting older? Loser mentality.
Loser mentality. Get up.
And there is a prescription for that, but you got to sometimes self-diagnose. You know what I mean?
WebMD, that thing.
WebMD, don't WebMD anything
WebMD
ever. You're going to go on thinking you have
late.
loser mentality. It's going to tell you have 20 different diseases. It's just awful.
I came here for loser mentality. I left with a whole bunch of other stuff.
What do you mean I have tuberculosis? This doesn't make sense. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, Cal Raleigh said practicing for the home run derby on Tuesday was, quote, exhausting. What's the real headline?
That says a lot for a guy who catches practically every day. Like, it's exhausting.
You know why? Because he doesn't take 1,000 hacks a day. He squats. He's got that dumper. You ever done wall sits? When I was in high school and college, we do wall sits. And there are some dudes who can just sit there forever. And I'm like, how are you doing this? My legs are shaking and trembling. He's like, I got this. I'm like, all right, now let's go do some sprints now. And then I got him. So I think it's just him being able to catch every day is a result of his anatomy.
Yeah.
And he is strong down there.
I've always envied people with great quads or good quad strength. I could do RDLs forever. Lunges after... I'm not kidding.
You got strong
after like
glutes and hammies.
What I'm saying, that's why I was never a great swimmer. I couldn't fully develop like all the muscles where it was like something about quad strength is just, it kills me. Like I cannot, it is my least favorite thing to do is anything involving quads and of course triceps, but that's for most people, particularly most women. It's hard.
It's genetics. It's not your fault.
It's just, I hate them. But look at Cal.
Look at Cal.
Look at Cal.
He's made for that position.
Yeah,
he's made for the squat.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, the Storm announced they'll be unveiling a statue for Sue Bird at Climate Pledge Arena in August. What's the real headline?
Wow, she really will be in Seattle forever.
Forever and ever. Sue Bird. She's probably, like, there are some women, I guess, every generation when it comes to basketball that kind of highlighted, right? When it first started, it was Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie. Then it kind of went to Candace Parker, Sue Bird, that kind of era. Now it's Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson or whatnot. She's one of the GOATs. I want to say there's like 3 generations in WNBA basketball because they started, mid-90s or something like that. And for her generation and overall, she's one of the best to ever do it. So congratulations to Sue. And we knew this was going down.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Yordan Alvarez suffered another setback in his return from a hand injury, and Jeremy Pena recently went on the IL, but the Astros picked up another game on the Mariners in the AL West standings last night. What's the real headline?
The Astros are both good and lucky, a deeply annoying combination.
They're just a team that believes. And they have just enough talent no matter what happens with Pena and Alvarez just to stay relevant. We talked to Jordan. Christian Walker's having a disaster season, but they still find a way. You know why? Because they got Hunter Brown on the mound. They got their rotation is on point. And I would imagine they have the same feeling that the Mariners had at one point when they knew whoever's on the mound, they have a chance to win this ball game. You combine that with winning championships and having that type of culture over there, it makes a dangerous team. And if there's anyone who's going to be able to weather the storm, it's going to be them. So I no longer look at the division. Yes, it'd be nice to win a division. You're 7 games back. But now I'm looking at the wild card and say, just hold on to that spot.
Look, and that being said, you absolutely can hang on to that spot. Like the American League wild card race is just a jumbled mess of teams. That like all of whom can have low floors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any one of these teams can maybe pull away, but not be as good as the Tigers or Yanks, and any one of them can completely fall out of it depending on what goes on here. It's a very interesting year, but one that has, because of that, left itself open. And yeah, just look, win today, win tomorrow, take this series, take advantage of a series against a Pirates team that's been struggling, and just try to keep winning before you get to 2 tough ones against the Yankees and Tigers.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Astros get the Nationals.
Hey, they might slip. Catch them slipping. Come on.
Taking a look around the NFL next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit Earnin.com for full details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. 21 days until Seahawks training camp, and Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start in Vegas. This one's about the Steelers, though. Vegas doesn't think the addition of Aaron Rodgers will amount to much for Pittsburgh. The Steelers are currently underdogs in 11 of their 17 games. Of the 6 games in which they are favored, yes, one is against the Seahawks in week 2.
They're favored against the Hawks?
Mm-hmm.
Disrespectful. This team isn't going to make the playoffs. I don't think they make the playoffs. They're in a tough division. Aaron Rodgers is 41, going on 42. I think Vegas has it right. They could surprise because you never know, right? Injuries happen in your division, in the league. You get a nod here and there. Maybe they click. But if I were a betting man, I would not bet on this team to make the playoffs. I'd give them 8 games.
Yeah, I just think they have the unfortunate distinction of playing, you're right, in a tough division, in also a tough conference. They did make the playoffs last year. They needed that defense to be out of this world. What's going to happen with TJ Watt? Is he even going to be there? I have no idea. I think they'll have a couple fun moments where we all get to have some discourse about Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he's looking like an MVP or still has it, and it's just ultimately not going to be the case.
I hope that he looks good, though. I don't want him to go out there and look hobbled.
Yeah.
And look hurt. You know what I saw the other day? I saw highlights of Doug Flutie filling in for Drew Brees back in 2003 when he was 41 years of age, and he still had some wiggle. That was fun to watch. I hope Aaron Rodgers has something like that at some point this year.
Lamar Jackson was a guest on Kevin Hart's YouTube show and shared the biggest adjustment he had to make when he was a rookie quarterback.
I'm gonna say being a leader because I'm really not outspoken, like being vocal with my guys, like, oh, let's do this and that, or got a great motivational speech. I don't have that. You know, I just pretty much lead by example. I go out there, I'm gonna work hard. I expect that out of you. But as I've been growing in the league, it's like, nah, you got to talk to the guys. Coaches and stuff like to tell me, talk to the guys. I'm like, all right. Now I talk to them one-on-one, but certain things I'm seeing, I got to voice it more. I got to voice my opinion more to those guys.
I would find that also to be the hardest thing, and I think the average person probably would. I think it's harder than people think to be a leader and an effective one, like an authentic one.
Yeah, because you have to be yourself, and if you aren't the guy to get in front of the team and put those speeches together, then when you do it, possibly it comes off as inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think whatever Lamar Jackson does is authentic. Even if he just steps up there for 10 to 15 seconds and says something, people are going to buy in because of his play. And I think he has it in him. Maybe sometimes has to be pulled out of him because I see these clips. Remember when they beat us here? 4th down, 4th and 1 on the goal line, and him and Jim are on the sideline. Let's go for it, coach. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see the leadership in that dude, and you know the guys love him over there. It's sometimes you just need a little nudge, and I think that's that could be scary for the rest of the league. If Lamar starts walking around a little taller, chest a little bigger, talking to his guys, motivating them, who knows? Man, I hope they get over the hump this year and he at least gets a Super Bowl appearance.
Can you imagine how crazy it'll be if we never see, and they're too young to take this seriously just yet, but if we never see Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen not only win a Super Bowl, but like get to one?
Yeah. Lamar, I mean, he's 28 years old. You know, he got maybe 4 more years to be able to run around the way that he's doing.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, it's just unfortunate, man, that all the great quarterbacks are stuck in the AFC.
The Athletics' Ted Wynn has the Seahawks among his 5 breakout defenses for 2025. Now, this isn't like, hey, these are going to be the 5 best. These are 5 defenses that are just going to break out. They're going to be the best part of their team, take a massive step forward, what have you. Bump, do you see the Seahawks as a defense that can take a step forward, a big step forward?
They've already broken out in my book, but I understand what he's talking about. Yeah, I think they can. I think another year getting coached up by Mike McDonald. You added some pieces. You got Imawari over there. Shaquille Griffin. I know people aren't going to be too moved by that, but that's a great addition there. Uchenna Nwosu being healthy most of the year. You're depending on Boye Mafe taking a step forward. Tyrese Knight only 9 starts last year. They did a lot of good with a few moving pieces, and they had to adjust a little bit. So I think that because I've seen their growth, and even Mike McDonald himself, this defense has no other choice but to grow and get better. So it'll be a breakout, I guess, for the rest of the league and people who don't really pay attention to what's going on here. But if you watch the second half of the season, you understand what was going on with this defense.
Some other interesting defenses on here. Of note for the Seahawks, he has the Arizona Cardinals as being another breakout defense in 2025. He said that they were in desperate need of help with their run defense, finished 28th in defensive rushing success rate last year, but they bolstered that front this offseason. He looks at the Buccaneers, the Giants, and the Patriots, all NFC teams except for one, which feels like something where you're looking at yet another thing that separates these two conferences. Like, we're going to have complete teams, run games, good defensive play with the best teams in the NFC. In the AFC, while you're going to have great defenses, are headed up by kind of like, these are the face of the franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah, and with the Bucs, give Baker Mayfield some love, man.
Mm-hmm.
The third most explosive offense in the game last year. He threw for 40 touchdowns. It was more their defense trying to get right. With the New York Giants, I'm curious there of why he thinks that they're going to be a breakout team. Is it because of your boy Russell? Is it because of Thibodeau over there? Like, what is it? I'm not too, I guess, versed when it comes to the Giants. Haven't really done my homework on them yet. But that's an interesting name to hear thrown into the mix as well.
He has a lot of faith in the pass rush.
Okay.
He says, obviously.
Yeah, which was great last year.
He said Dexter Lawrence. I think he's got faith that Kayvon Thibodeau will reach his ceiling as opposed to underwhelm. So it's more of like how people have talked about, like, well, if Julio could become everything we thought, like, Thibodeau is part of that conversation. And then he said, look, they added Brian Burns, gave him an extension, so he's got some more experience here. I think he's just looking at their pass rush and then their safety room.
Well, that's good. Their pass rush is going to be good. We know firsthand about that. And their run game should be decent as well. Just who's going to be your quarterback? Can Malik Neighbors take another step forward? One of the great young receivers in this league. And Dable, what kind of game are you going to call for Russell?
Washington Post NFL reporter Mark Mask says no formal talks are expected about expanding the NFL regular season schedule to 18 games just yet, at least not until 2026. So it feels inevitable and has always felt inevitable, but there are at least not going to be talks this year, and they're going to revisit them next.
Yeah, it's this is something that's going to be talked about every year until it's done, because we know the owners want to make more money. That helps the TV deals. And it's going to happen. Just a matter of time.
Something about an odd number of regular season and preseason games also just feels in between. Yeah. There's no way you can have 17 games. Just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't.
Good. You're going to add another.
It's awkward.
Yep. It doesn't. Yeah. Then you have the uneven road and home games.
Yeah.
We all know it's a step towards another step.
It's un-American is what it is.
That's exactly right, Bump. The Commanders are unveiling a new alternate uniform next week per the team's social media account. They're rumored to be getting an alternate inspired by their pre-Commanders era, but with Commanders logos. So more uniform news. I thought you and Curtis might like hearing some jersey updates.
Sean Taylor Thomas days. The real basic, which is essentially the Seahawks throwback jerseys, just different color with the stripes on the shoulder. Yeah, it's essentially the same thing.
It's clean. It's clean.
When are the Seahawks? So the Seahawks 90s, white 90s era jersey was just
still
just
a rumor.
Okay.
Nothing confirmed, but it's rumored that it'll be a late July unveiling, which the Seahawks start training camp July 23rd. I would guess around that time.
They should practice in them. And then we still haven't heard anything about remember they were going to do, what is it called? Like the regional.
Oh, the rivalry.
Rivalry,
uniforms.
Not regional. I mean,
I don't know when those are getting unveiled. Maybe during the season they unveil those.
For sure during the season, but did we all think it might happen in week 2? No.
There's like 3 options for the Seahawks to wear them. It's your home divisional game. So week 1 against the 49ers. I don't know if week 1 is when you drop a new jersey.
Why not?
I don't know.
Don't you wear your best outfit to school on the first day of school?
No, it's just a regular 1 o'clock kick against the 49ers. And then I think the Cardinals, or one of the divisional home games is near the end of the season. So you only got
but it's prime time.
One extreme. Yeah.
Get ready to call in. What's the Mariners' biggest deadline need? Think of your answer. That number is going to be 866-979-3776. Don't go anywhere.
ESPN Senior Baseball Insider Buster Olney on Brock and Salk.
What do you make of this Mariners team in general?
There are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point that it makes it hard to define them all. I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack because of their potential ceiling for their pitching once they get that in order. You know, their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Hear the full interview on the Seattle Sports app and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, and outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net.
You got a pipe with a leak, water's reaching its peak.
DayandNight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
The throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
DayandNight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair, and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock, or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
DayandNight.net.
Ready for summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament, presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Team registration is extended to July 7th. Register your team today at Everett3on3.net. That's Everett3on3.net. Each player gets an Amazon player bag. Thank you to event sponsors Boys and Girls Clubs, Xfinity, and Visit Everett.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want?
This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Get ready to rock with Bret Michaels at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, July 10th. Rock and roll rebel Bret Michaels. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Bret Michaels rocks your world July 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help, call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get ready to call in. That number's going to be 866-979-3776. Write it down. Add it to your phone. Save us as Seattle Sports. It's the same as the text line. And get ready to call. The question is going to be open-ended. Lots of possible answers here. It's the Mariners' biggest need at the deadline. Maybe you just say offense. Maybe it's a third baseman. Maybe it's right-handed guy. Whatever it is, you can be as specific or vague as you want. You do need to give an answer. And if you want to be specific and say, hey, I think they should deal Harry Ford, or I think they should sign Alex Bregman, or I don't think they should sign Alex Bregman. Whatever it is that you want to campaign for, get ready for it. 866-979-3776. What would you say is their biggest need at the deadline? And you can also have a creative twist if you want, because I know that you have an answer that isn't about an addition.
Their biggest need is for Julio to get going.
That would be it.
Get going, baby. Let's get it. You're having a decent season. You know, I'm not mad at you. I want more. I need more out of you. This team needs more. But the biggest deal, no matter what happens, you go get Barry Bonds out of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
All right? If Julio don't show up, if Cal doesn't continue, if Randy doesn't show pop 2 games in a row, big ups, 3 home runs, I'm with you there. The youngsters don't ball. I don't care who you get, what you do. It ain't going to be enough. But you got to support those guys. And there's something to be said if this team goes out and shows the guys right here, look, we are invested.
Mm-hmm.
We think you can do it. Let's go get it. It can do something for him. But, yeah, for me, it's just Julio getting a bit more better.
Yeah, that's really the most important thing for them to happen at the deadline is a piece they already have that they're already paying, start playing like a cornerstone of this franchise.
Have you seen Montez, though? Am I saying his name right? Yeah.
I was listening to who was I listening to where they were talking about calling let's just see what happens.
Yesterday he hit a triple, should have went yard. Arroyo hit a triple yesterday as well. Montez is a big dude, man. I know they're not ready for the bigs. This is for the future.
Yeah.
But it did get me a little excited watching him do his thing.
Oh, for sure. Like they have a really, really great group, particularly in Everett. I already said that I was team Bregman. It's not my money, so it's easy to say. It's not prospects I've spent years of my life evaluating and collecting, so it's easy to say, and I recognize that context. These are much more difficult decisions when you have to make the sacrifice, but I would love to see this team in the playoffs. In theory, he's the best bat available. It is an uncomfortable move, but as Ian mentioned, they're a team that needs a catcher. You have a great prospect, a good catcher in Harry Ford that you're not going to be calling up immediately here. I know that it's a big sacrifice. They love Harry Ford, but if it improves your offense, you're getting a guy who's hitting .299 this year, then maybe that's the move. I did see someone, I wanted to throw this your way, say, well, what if you have a guy in theory like Bregman and he's a bad addition to the clubhouse? Like, what kind of impact could an addition mean for the environment and culture of your clubhouse?
This is what I say to that. This is professional sports. This isn't select sports where you have to travel with these guys and the parents have to chill in the lobby together after the games and the kids go on activities together. These are grown men playing a game. And I understand the bad feelings that surround Bregman for a lot of these people. And I think you're right. Like, it's fair to ask the question, what is he going to do to the clubhouse once he gets in there? Let me tell you this. As long as he is helping them win, I don't think anybody's tripping. I don't think anyone's tripping. If anything, they're going to poke fun at him cheating. If anything, if I were one of the leaders in the clubhouse and he walks to the door, I'm just banging a trash can as soon as he walks in. Like, all right, what's the protocol? How do we do this?
Yeah.
Like, you make fun of that stuff. That was 2017. You and I were trying to figure out who was on the team that back then that's on the team now.
I don't know. Curtis, who was on the squad in 2017 still on this team? Granted, the 2018 and 19 Mariners still face those guys, but like, was JP here in 17, 18?
I don't think so.
It's
I think JP got here in like 2019.
Mitch Garver, Seager, like just a completely different group.
It's a different squad, man.
Yeah, it was totally different.
And how how dudes are, man. Dudes, we're it's a lot more simple. If it was a reality TV show with just regular guys, it'd be so not entertaining to a lot of people because we find ways to make fun of each other and to get over stuff so quickly. It wouldn't be a big deal. So I don't think there would be any type of judgment him walking through that door.
I think if anything, as a player, and again, I'm putting myself into a mindset I've never occupied, so it's unfair. But I think if anything, as a player, you go, wow, they just gave up prospects and are taking on $40 million this year for this guy. That's massive. So they believe in me too, and they believe in us, and they believe in this team because that's not a move you make when you're out of it. That's a move that required sacrifice and really difficult, uncomfortable decisions. But they're doing it because they believe in me. Like, that's how I'd feel as a player. It's wow, they're in this.
You know what I did when my son started balling, playing golf? Brand new irons. I'm like, until you show me that you love this game and that there's potential in you, I'm not going to invest. Then I'm buying these new irons. You know what he's doing now? Practicing every single day, hitting in the net, going to the golf course. It's the same type of thing. You're looking at your team and saying, you know what, I believe in you guys. I'm going to throw you some new shiny irons. And you go out there and you practice, you play hard. It does something to a team when you add additions like that.
Someone said I'm out on the season if they get Bregman.
All right. Well, that's unfortunate for you.
Curtis.
Yeah, that's too bad because they're going to be a better team if he's on the roster.
I mean, look, we're not idiots. I understand the very complicated moral situation that a lot of people are going to find themselves in going, this guy was on a team that absolutely positively cheated, that shouldn't have been able to keep that World Series, and everyone hates the Astros. I say it all the time. However, he's a player now unconnected to that team. Who makes you better. And this is also important to say, cheating is gross, and I look down my nose at it. This isn't someone who got 5 DUIs or was breaking the law or is like this horrific locker room cancer. He was a guy on a team that cheated, and shame on them. But I feel like sometimes some of us are talking about Bregman like it's like, how dare you add this horrible, malignant piece of trash? I don't know, man. My definition of immoral is a little bigger than that. Like, there's different things that fall on that spectrum before I get to cheating in a baseball game.
It's a business too, man. You know how many slime balls are in corporate America?
Let me tell you what. Working in sports is interesting. And if everyone knew everything about the teams, not just the teams, players, coaches, and everything, and I say them, and sounds like I'm hinting at something. I've genuinely loved so many of the players and coaches that we've covered. But, like, this isn't Boy Scouts. Everyone in the league, in any league, is ruthlessly competitive, gets as close to towing the line as they can. And, again, I'm not excusing the Astros. I, to the end of time, will hate them and say shame on them for that. And this doesn't suddenly make it to where Bregman has to be your favorite player. He happens to be the best bat that could be available to you. That's what I'm saying. I like
this. 253. He's done his time. We've seen athletes, politicians, regular people, right? You serve your time, and then, you get to start all over. I don't know what serving his time means. Maybe just going 8 years, 7 years of just people just heckling the heck out of you.
As a dramatic person, I think it's dramatic to stop watching your team because they made a really aggressive move at the deadline you didn't like.
I didn't want LeBron. I ain't stopped watching.
And look at him now. He's a massive LeBron fan. He
not a
talks about
massive
LeBron
LeBron fan.
every
I am
day.
not a LeBron
He
fan.
says how excited he is to see Bronny go against Cooper Flag. You celebrated. You
yeah.
were just saying the other day how proud you were of your team's in-season tournament championship.
Hang the banner.
Hang the banner. All right. We're actually going to be trying to answer this question as best we can by having you guys call in. What is the Mariners' biggest deadline need? A lot of possible answers for you here. 866-979-3776. Call now. That number is 866-979-3776. Your call's next.
Tonight,
Logan looks in. Here's the stretch.
the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound as the M's look for their third win in their last 4 games.
The 3-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 10 for Logan Gilbert.
Mariners, Royals.
Go down swinging.
First pitch at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
New Harley-Davidson starting at $99 a month at Jet City Harley. 600 new Harleys in stock. Only $99 a month for a brand new Harley-Davidson at Jet City Harley. Visit jetcityharley.com.
Payments based on extra models and base color with 30% down, 84-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested, even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
The perfect night out this summer is under the stars at the drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films, cool cars, and unforgettable memories, all from the comfort of your own ride at the LeMay America's Car Museum Movie Nights. Bring the kids, pack snacks, and tune in for fun. The next showing is Transformers on July 27th. LeMay Drive-In Movies, where the big screen meets the open road. Space is limited, so reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
The countdown is on.
21 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Knicks are expected to hire Mike Brown as head coach per ESPN. Brown is a four-time champion as an assistant in Golden State and San Antonio. Emerson Hancock has been optioned to AAA Tacoma in a corresponding move. The Mariners recalled Joe Jakes.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. What's the Mariners' biggest deadline need? 866-979-3776. Some of y'all talking about this team like they're 10 games under 500. It's wild. We're out of it. I don't want to play anymore. Baseball's over. Come on now. God. Again, I keep saying, don't adopt that loser mentality on July 2nd. If this team gets out of the playoffs, then full permission to rage. In fact, we'll open phone lines just for you to call in and rage about the season, lament the season, and complain about it. Rage against the machine. But right now, you are, unfortunately, 7 games back of the Astros, but still have a hold in the wild card. And you need to not just hold your ground, but make up ground against the Astros. Maybe it'll take more offense. Maybe it needs another arm. All kinds of potential answers here. 866-979-3776. You are calling now. You know, it's always people sounding off on text that don't want to call in. Don't be shy. We'll be friendly. Mark and Gig Harbor is our first caller. Mark, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
I'm saying a power-hitting first baseman. Leave Williamson alone. Leave him there.
Love it, Mark. Thank you. Power-hitting first baseman. I'd love to see not just more added to first. Mark is right, but more power in this lineup. Julio hasn't been slugging.
Well, yeah, so power first baseman, you're looking at O'Hearn and Naylor at this point. Yeah, I could see that because then
co-sign both.
You know, both. And Luke prefers to play in the outfield anyway, and he's been platooning at first base with Solano at this point. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I think just power in general. Like,
yeah.
The areas in which you're capable of having it. Let's look at Randy Arozarena, right? 3 home runs over the last 2 games. Awesome. Awesome. And he can get hot. But Angie mentioned this yesterday. We've heard this from many analysts. He can also be a bit streaky. Right now, there's no guy you're looking at outside of Cal who can consistently bring that. Like, Rayleigh's capable. Randy's capable. Canzone just hit a home run the other day. I wouldn't say he's like a power bat or anything. But you have guys that are capable of it. Are they capable of consistently providing it? No. So you need to find that. 866-979-3776. What's the Mariners' biggest deadline need? Will anyone call in and say Alex Bregman? I don't think so. Based on the text line, I'm going to say no. Matthew in Seattle, what's the Mariners' biggest need?
The biggest need is ownership and general management that we can trust. It's been made very clear that our owner is more confident with profitable mediocrity than he is in making big moves that might backfire. And even if he was, I wouldn't trust Jerry Dipoto to make those moves. He's never picked a good free agent offensive talent. He's like your friend who's a day trader and buys stocks right before they collapse.
What, Matthew, would be something that would make you gain some trust in Dipoto?
I'd like to see Jerry Dipoto make 3 or 4 moves to bring in players that do not fit their standard mold, which is under team control, young, mediocre with the potential to get better if all the stars align. They love the multi-tool super utility guy. He'd give us 9 McLemores if he could. We need them to invest in players who have clear and demonstrable A-level tools.
Is there a name that you're interested in?
I would have really liked to see them go hard after Ohapi or I'm forgetting his name, but that excellent fielder that they have down in Oakland, Rooker. Either of those guys would have been a dramatic upgrade over Tavares, and they would have prevented the kind of collapse in their offensive base running that we saw when so-and-so went on the DL with the bad shoulder. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, Robles, right?
Mm-hmm. Robles. They have no backup plan for Robles. They have no backup plan for Brad or for Bliss, and it's been reflected in the just utter decline in their aggressive speed on the base pass in May and June.
Okay, so you want to see several moves, and in particular, you want to see aggressive moves.
I'm just fundamentally not happy with the way that they build offensive lineups. The commitment to righty-lefty matchups to the detriment of all other logical evidence. It's what leads to these endless double play outs. Putting Solano in last night just because it's a righty-lefty matchup, setting aside his speed issues, setting aside his sporadic understanding of the strike zone, was doomed to fail.
All right. Thanks for the call, Matthew. I think I'm putting up what you're putting down. He just needs to get more faith. He's like, please just give me faith.
The only hole in his argument is that he said Jerry Dipoto is not able to sign a free agent. And I think it goes beyond Jerry Dipoto, especially when it comes to free agency, because
you're not as desirable as a location.
You're not a desirable location, and Jerry is giving a check and saying this is what you have to spend. So he's not going to go after. We know he's not, and he probably can't go after the bigger names and offer this massive deal that these top stars are asking for.
I agree. I think 2 things are true. Part of it is what Matthew and many people are probably feeling, and the other part is important context that you're adding. The important context is, you're right, there are restrictions to what you can spend and what Jerry and Justin have been given to spend. There are limitations in how you can pitch yourself as an organization. You haven't been to the playoffs consistently. You haven't. You're traveling more miles than any other team in baseball. And you simply are not going to be able to compete with, when there are guys that are like, I just want to win a ring somewhere. Where am I going to go? Like, you're not going to be able to compete with some of those other locations. It is what it is. The flip side and the kind of where some frustration lies with a lot of people, I think, and you know this too, is that at times when they have spent, it's been on pieces that don't make you a better team. Like, you spent bringing in Haniger and signing Garver. That's money you spent. It didn't work out.
Good money.
So it's a mixed bag. What's the Mariners' biggest deadline need? 866-979-3776. Let's go to Justin in Yakima.
Hey,
Hi,
Bubba, Stacy,
Justin.
love your show. Highlight of the Cairo lineup.
Oh, thanks. What's the biggest deadline need?
It is Alex Bregman. Absolutely. Get that man in the Mariners uniform. As a man who moved here from Minnesota about 6 years ago, diehard Twins fan, I couldn't stand Carlos Correa. Just wait till Alex Bregman starts hitting them home for you and getting a couple of walk-offs. You'll forget all about who he played for before.
Thanks, Justin. I had a Twins fan text in and say that about Correa, and I think they would agree with you. Let's go to CJ in Seattle. CJ, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
Going first base, third base, or a power reliever to round out. I feel like their bullpen's good. They just seems to be, at this point, one hole in there. Yeah, I mean, that every other position, I mean, you could upgrade at other positions, but it conflicts with prospects moving up. You got to deal with them acclimating. So, I mean, I like Canzone a lot. You like Young, right? It's just the timing of them offsets a little bit their development of a champion or playoff team. So I go with third base, and I has to be an older guy and maybe fill the gap between Williamson developing. I mean, that's what I got.
All right. Thanks for the call, CJ. CJ says third base, not someone that's going to block the development of Williamson.
Yeah, that's the tricky part is I think most people who could get away from who Bregman is in a different uniform would want him at third base. My only caution would be like, at what cost? Like how much confidence has Williams instilled in this organization? Do they feel like he is the third baseman of the future? Defensively, he's solid as heck.
Yeah, great plays yesterday.
Right? Defensively, he's solid. In the batter's box, he's coming around. I think if it's Bregman, you do that. If it's anyone else, I heard of the Rockies. Ryan McMahon has been connected to the team as well. If it ain't Bregman, then I feel like you have to just roll with Williams and see what happens there.
866-979-3776. What's the Mariners' biggest deadline need? Let's go to Bill, calling from Astoria. Bill, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
Stacy, first I want to stop and give a little love to Bump. Go Cougs, 1976, College of Business. Yeah.
Let's go. Go Cougs, baby.
That's enough.
Go Cougs. All right. The biggest need, Stacy, is Dan needs to light a fire under him. I'm not buying the sunshine and Julio's bonehead center field play last night. All the teams are comfortably robbing home runs from us in our own ballpark, but our outfielders cannot seem to manage to play the wall. And when they sent Rivas down, Rivas is not the answer for the team, but his desire at second base, his unbelievable effort, hitting 280 and on base 400. We need some players who really want to play.
All right. Thank you for the call, Bill. Another kind of like you, Bump, kind of like, okay, I'm going to take a creative approach to this. And he just wants to see a fire lit for some of these guys.
The only problem I have with that is what's a fire lit going to do in baseball? What does it do in baseball? I don't get in front of the team and say, all right, guys, I need you to swing at strikes. Don't chase. Make solid contact. Defensively, make every play. It's just that is not baseball. I think a fire lit will be bringing up a young guy who is applying some pressure. I think that's about as good as it gets. Or bringing a bat that applies some pressure to someone in 1 through 5 that's supposed to be your guy. Or bringing that bat to relieve some of that stress and some of that pressure. Like lighting a fire is cool, but it don't take you that far in baseball.
Yes. Really good point about like, well, what's that look like in the second half? I do think the guys here want to win. The one thing I'll say is while I think like, oh, yeah, sure, add to the outfield. Absolutely. Like I can co-sign Bill's point there. I am not going to co-sign about Julio. One of his worst days defensively yesterday, but he has been otherwise exceptional. This is actually his best
nice
defensive season, and it's not particularly close. So I think maybe the recency bias of like, what was some bad plays?
He's had a couple.
Was
one against Toronto where I felt like he should have caught that.
No,
Stacey,
I will not stand by that.
He should have caught that dang ball.
No one else would have gotten close to that.
Yes,
but
yes,
Julio,
they would have gotten close to that.
Julio has otherwise his best defensive season. Let's go to Gary. Gary, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
I don't really know what you can do at the deadline. But what I think, and Bump just said that maybe that's not the answer, is you can't coach these guys up. But it would be in the best interest of the team if these guys would play with a little more pride with what they have and what's on the line. They don't seem to play at the level that they do against the good teams as they do against the worst teams in the league. And that's disappointing for fans, and I'm sure for them too. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't think there's anyone out there that they're going to pick up. I think it's the biggest thing for me is they have to look into their souls and want to play a little bit more harder. They're 7 games out now, and that's disgraceful, especially with those damn guys in Texas.
Thanks, Gary. We might have lost you for just a second. I know it was choppy, but we heard what you were saying.
Yeah.
What do you think about Gary's point?
I mean, he's right. You got to play up to your competition. I went back and looked at their series against Houston, and they lost to when Valdez started. They lost 2-1, but then they did beat Hunter Brown 7-6. I'm trying to find examples of them playing down to their competition. That was early in the season. The Tigers, we didn't understand who they were at the beginning of the season. You lose 9-6 and 4-1. Then you have a series against the Yankees. You lose 11-5. You won 2-1 in extras, and you lost 3-2. At the time, San Diego was playing some good ball. You sweep them.
The Nationals are one in there.
Nationals, second year in a row, we're going to look at this National Series and kick ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. And then you get swept by the Baltimore Orioles, right? I just mentioned the Nationals and the Orioles, which you lose those series to.
Yeah.
The Yankees, who you competed with, I think you won that series I lost it 1-2. And then against Houston, you won that series 2-1. What do we hear? Inconsistencies, right? And I went back, I think a few days ago or last week, and I looked at how they played against some of the top guys in the league. And other than Hunter Brown, typically when they play against an ace, like a top 15 pitcher in the game, they don't produce runs. So what is that? Is that not being motivated to want to play this game, or is it just not being good enough to compete with the top arms in the game?
I'll look back to I hear what both of our last two callers have said, which is I just want to feel like there's fight that I can see, because that might be all you have.
Yeah.
I completely understand the point that's being made. I do think fight can sometimes look different, not just in baseball, but with a team that hasn't been there before. They don't know yet. I know they've been to the playoffs, most of this group, but none of them know what it's like to win a World Series. None of them know what it's like to power through the ALDS and ALCS and get that's something they have to figure out. So I think even then it's going to look a bit different. But, man, I go back to that series that they just had against the Rangers, all 3 games going into extras, and I think of Bizzardo on the mound. We're in, the 12th or 13th at that point. He throws that final strike. You see him fist pump, Cal fist pumps, everyone's celebrating, and there's not just a sigh of relief, but they're sincerely, just letting out this roar of oh my God, yes. That's a team that's not checked out. That's a team that's exhausted, playing a game that they should be winning, and they should be performing even better than. This game shouldn't have gone to extras. And yet, or you have Miles Mastroboni playing the hero, right? You have moments in those games where I thought this is a team that isn't giving up, and that's a cool thing to see.
They make plays. I mean, and when do you see the heart and the grit of a team? Typically, it's on the defensive side of the ball, right? It's Mastroboni making plays. It's Ben Williamson chasing down a foul ball. It's Julio going up top. It's Robles dislocating his shoulder, going into the net, trying to catch a ball there. Once you get into the batter's box, it's a mental game and it's skill. It's a totally different game. You want to see passion and fight and all that, you see that on the defensive side.
I will say, for what it's worth, I haven't heard anything about any complaints from people that we've had on, off the record at all, or about oh, guys just don't believe in Dan. I've heard the opposite about Dan being pretty well liked. And there are questions about bullpen management and substitutions and the learning curves that a new manager is going to have.
Right.
But I have not heard about people disliking.
The only knock on Dan is just his management of the bullpen, I think, at this point. And that's when he has the most control over a game anyway. Like, I was really baffled that Kirby didn't come back out. He was only at like 82 pitches or something like that. He's gone 90. He's gone 100. You understand the stress that this bullpen has been under. But, you know, there's a method to his madness. I don't think he's shooting from the hip. I think he's getting information and making decisions there. But other than that, I think early in the season there were a situation where a guy was called to the mound and he sends him back. Like little procedural things that you can kind of see, but that's part of being a rookie skip. But I think for the most part, he's done a good job.
George in Bellevue. George, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
If I could just switch track real quick,
Sure.
I have a concern with Kyle Raleigh and the home run derby.
Okay.
Just look at last night. He goes 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. That was after we watched him practice during the day. I think it's a great thing that he's been nominated and that his dad and his brother are involved. That's really cool. It's screwed up the swing of everybody who's ever participated, and it's the last thing we need right now.
Thanks for the call, George Bump. I know that you're also concerned about Cal and the Derby. Excited. It is what it is. Get yours. Have that spotlight. Play in the Derby that you've probably watched every year since you were a kid. I didn't think the 4 strikeouts were related to like mechanics or a swing. I thought it was, if anything, some fatigue in general with Cal's workload. But Cal can strike out.
Yeah, I think that I went to Vegas in February, and I played 36 holes 2 days in a row. And I work out. I'm 39. I'm not quite 40 yet. And I'm thinking, I can handle this. I'll be good, right? Man, that second 36 whoops my butt. When just 5 years ago, I would have ate that 36 like it was nothing. 2 rounds like nothing. So it definitely, he felt it. Imagine if he did nothing all day. He just got up, went to the ballpark, did his regular routine. His body would feel different. I'm not saying that it just derailed him and that's the main reason why he went 0 for 4, but that was something new for him. He added an extra stress on his body before the game. I also think that he'll figure out the routine and be just fine. And that's what athletes do. It's like, all right, well, I have to adjust. Maybe I don't swing it as many hacks, or I take a little bit more time in between, or I do it at a different time. There are things that he can do. I don't think it was the main ingredient for that 0 for 4, but I definitely think his body was feeling it.
Teresa and Puyallup, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
I think they need a bat, but I also wanted to comment that did you notice that when Garver got hurt, they called Harry Ford up. Miraculously, Garver got better, and he started hitting home runs. Harry Ford went back to Tacoma, and he started striking out. Tellez got DFA'd. Solano picked up. Then things mellowed out, and Solano's back to striking out. So I feel like those guys could do better if they felt like they needed to.
Okay. Teresa, I'm going to focus on Teresa's second point because Teresa agrees with us, like wants to see more power to the lineup. And yeah, cosign. I completely agree. I completely agree, Trey. That's what they call her in Real Housewives. One of the characters' name is Teresa. But what do you think about Teresa's point about, like, sometimes when you have the threat of competition, she's saying, I think there's room for guys on the squad to be better because we've seen them perform better when there was a threat of competition or when they really needed a big game. Like, you can see there's variance there that they aren't always hitting.
Yeah, I can see that. So she's saying the reason why Mitch did this thing was because he heard a young Harry Ford.
My girl Trey just said, I think it's interesting that Harry Ford came in there, was potentially going to take that gig, and Mitch Garver has a redemption tour against his old team and hits a home run.
You can't ignore it. Just like, I'm not allowing people to ignore that Cal did something out of the norm in his routine, and it might have affected him a bit. I don't think you can ignore that Mitch saw this young 20-something-year-old in the wings and saying, I still want to play, even though I'll get this $12 million no matter what. I still want to be out there. That could definitely motivate him.
Last caller, we'll go to Lance and Puyallup. Lance, what's the Mariners' biggest deadline need?
My thoughts is you try and build on your bullpen strength. So you grab a high-leverage lefty and a high-leverage righty. Turn your bullpen into a strength from the 6th inning on. And for a bat, I would go get Ryan McMahon. I know he's not sexy, but he plays first, second, and third base. He's a good glove, and he's the kind of pickup that Jared DePoto would make.
Really like it, actually.
That reminds me of like a Tyler Perry scene. Like, he's not the greatest looking, but he's a good man. He's a good man.
No, not Taraji P in here. Like, listen to Ryan McMahon. Actually, no, I really like the idea of trying to become as good as you possibly can pitching-wise. To be like, look, if you're not going to become this elite offense, be a team that can win if you only put up 4 runs. I really like that one from Lance. Okay, quickly, what's on tonight?
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight. They look to bounce back against the Royals. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know.
Tonight,
Logan looks in. Here's the stretch.
the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound as the M's look for their 3rd win in their last 4 games.
The 3-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 10 for Logan Gilbert.
Mariners, Royals.
Go down swinging.
First pitch at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Kick off your 4th of July weekend with a Mariners fireworks show at Seattle's summer home, T-Mobile Park. It's a Mariners patriotic party this Thursday, presented by T-Mobile. Fly ball right field, sailing back, gone! Legend, Cal Raleigh! Catch Cal and the crew take on the Royals at 7:10. Then stick around as the sky explodes with red, white, and boom! Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off single. Holy smokes, what a finish.
Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks and check out the full fireworks lineup this summer, including an 80s night on July 18th and Show Tunes theme on August 1st. Plus, don't miss big-time giveaways like patriotic trucker hats on Friday and J.P. Crawford basketball jerseys on Saturday. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
21 days until Seahawks training camp. And Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Rick Riz here, and it's the final month to submit your nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Pella's owners are donating $5,000 to 2 local youth sports organizations. Many local teams are in need of new equipment, field improvements, or uniforms. If you know a team who could use funding, nominate them at seattlesports.com/play. Join Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington and help our local youth thrive. Go to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a team in need right now.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event this Saturday, July 5th through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event starting this Saturday. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in 15, it's What I Need to Know. Get your questions in, 866-979-3776. Any question, send it now to the text line. Again, get into that in 15. Right now, top 5 quarterbacks in the AFC, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC. I find this to be a very interesting exercise.
This is interesting.
Wherein with the NFC, I could not figure out who to include
they're all
and where.
clumped together.
Yeah, and then the AFC was more of like a, wow, you can make the case for so many guys. I love this exercise. Okay, let's start with the AFC because I think the NFC is just spicier and more entertaining.
Okay.
You're 1 through 5 in the AFC.
1 through 5, Mahomes, of course. I know another man just won the MVP, but I thought the other man should have won it. I'm not mad at the man who won the MVP, though. I'm going Lamar Jackson, 2. I'm going Josh Allen, 3. Now, listen, 2 and 3 can be interchangeable.
Yes.
All right? I'm not hating on nobody, okay? Don't come after me. I'm going Burrow at 4.
I have the exact same order.
And then this last one.
Wait, let's say it at the same time.
1, 2, 3. Justin Herbert. Yep.
Wow,
Oh,
twins.
look at us.
Okay, twin,
Look
calm
at
down.
us. Okay.
Yeah, I think what's fascinating about this division, I think conference, the vast majority of people would have Mahomes at number 1. But what's really, really cool is this is a conference entirely about quarterback talent. I know that's not the case with every single team, but here's the thing about having Herbert at 5. I'm guessing both you and I chose him because of just overall talent, potential, arm strength, technique, all of that stuff. The team that he's on and what they can do this year.
They got some help this year. They'll be all right.
Yes. There are cases to be made looking around this conference for yet other players. We didn't mention Trevor Lawrence at all. We didn't even talk about some of the now second-year players that are entering another season. Bo Nix, if that Denver Broncos defense takes a massive step forward too, oh my God, then the offense doesn't have as much pressure and he could, be, I don't know, maybe they're in the playoffs. Like maybe they take another step in the postseason. So there's other names that make this a fascinating one. None of us mentioned C.J. Stroud.
Stroud makes it interesting.
You know what I mean?
I think Drake May is going to be a good quarterback. I'm eating crow because I did not believe in the young man.
Right.
I believe now.
There's so much quarterback
young potential.
talent.
You got Cam Ward, young potential. You got Bo Nix, who played well this year. Don't sleep on Geno over there with the Raiders. C.J. Stroud is still with the Texans.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, what's going to happen there? The AFC is loaded, man.
Loaded.
We even talk about Tua, man. I know people hate on Tua, but he's put together a couple seasons.
I wouldn't
too.
have 2 of my top 5.
Nah.
But
Definitely
I mean,
not.
there's cases that could be made for someone else at 5 that I would have accepted and it would have felt fair. Like I'm saying, like if someone was like, I think CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud would be my 5th guy in this. I'd be like, totally fair.
I can
He had
get
a
it.
record-breaking rookie season. He had a less than stellar sophomore year. Their offensive line took a massive step
Would
back.
you
They
put him
fired
at
their
6?
offensive coordinator.
Would you put him at 6? Who's the first guy out?
Probably Stroud, or a lot of people would still have Lawrence, even though you're kind of like, well, do something
What about
mode
Geno?
with Lawrence.
What about Geno?
Listen,
Geno might be my first guy out.
Listen, there's a lot of Geno hate out there, but Geno Smith took 50 sacks last season and still surpassed 4,300 yards.
I'm saying Geno might be my first guy out. I might take him over CJ Stroud, honestly.
Just because of, like, we're talking, like, right now where you are.
Right now.
Obviously, you're not going to say, oh, Geno at 37 in 2 years is going to,
No,
right now where they're at.
Last season, I understand Houston dealt with some offensive line issues. So did the Seahawks with Geno over there. And Geno still outperformed them.
Okay, let's go to the NFC, where
This is
Geno
where
no
it gets
longer
tough,
resides.
Man, this is tough.
Your number, go 1 through 5.
This
and then
is
I'll tell you what I
tough,
have.
man. All right.
No wrong answers.
There are wrong answers. There's definitely some wrong answers out there. Number 1.
I said a boring one.
I'm going to go with Jordan Love.
Number 1?
Jordan Love.
Number 1.
Jordan Love.
The audacity. Jordan Love, newly married. Congratulations, Jordan Love. Number 1 in the NFC. Michael
Number 1.
Bumpus, stop.
I'm going Jordan Love.
Stop. I went with Matthew Stafford,
You
and I
don't
thought it was
mean
going to be a
that.
boring one.
Nah.
You don't mean that.
I do. I think he's more talented than Matthew Stafford.
Right now. If you were going to hand the reins of the offense to any quarterback in
Any
the
quarterback.
NFC, your pick
Any
of the
quarterback.
conference, you're going with one Jordan Love.
You're listening to Damian Woody too much. He only threw for 3,300 yards last year.
I'm going Jordan Love.
Stop. Why Jordan
going
Love?
Jordan Love.
Why Jordan Love?
Because
Maybe this
he's
sounds insane in 3
he's
years.
just the more talented quarterback out of those
He
guys.
is immensely talented.
He's a more talented
but-
quarterback. He throws a better ball than Jalen Hurts. He's more mobile than Matthew Stafford. He's more reliable than Jaden Daniels.
Wow.
Jared Goff is just a quarterback's quarterback. You know what I mean? But I feel like there's there's 2 young men that within the next 2 or 3 years will be number 1 and 2 who aren't on my top 5 right now.
Sure, but
No, I'm going Jordan
right
Love.
now,
Right now.
I think Jordan Love could
Going
end
Jordan
up
Love.
being the best quarterback in the conference, and
Going Jordan Love.
that would be
So yours is Matthew
cool
Stafford.
to see. I went Stafford.
Even though you hate on him every chance you get.
Okay, I digress. And then I'm talking like right now.
I know.
Who do I think is just the best, most talented right now? A healthy Matthew Stafford.
I got
Maybe
Stafford
he only
after
has
him.
this season. And then the next 3, I'm just going to spoil it and say for 5, I put Daniels over pure potential, mobility, dynamic runner, whatever. 2, 3, 4 are where I got myself all twisted up.
All right, what you got?
Okay, I said Hurts, Mayfield, Goff.
Hurts at 2.
I said Hurts at 2. I have to give some credence to A, he can be a dynamic runner. B, that he did really shine as a passer the further they got in the playoffs. And I thought that was impressive, that as pressure mounted, as they got deeper into the playoffs, as they faced really competitive teams, he actually became a better passer. Or he had some of his best passing performances, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I had to give him the nod. Maybe there's Super Bowl
So your
bias
1 through
in
5
here.
is what? Stafford?
I said Stafford, Hurts, Goff, Mayfield. I could easily have said Stafford, Mayfield, Goff, Hurts.
Yep.
And I think that would be correct still.
I got Love, Stafford, Hurts, Goff, Mayfield.
Mayfield doesn't get enough love.
40,
Baker Mayfield.
40 touchdowns.
40. You guys.
Who's your first guy out?
I don't know where to put Purdy or Kyler Murray. I look at the rest of the NFC West, and I don't know where to put.
It's Jaden Daniels.
Oh, Jaden Daniels was my 5th.
Oh, he's your 5th? Okay, he's my first guy out.
Oh, Jordan Love then would be. I didn't have Jordan Love, so shame on
He's
me.
my first, and he's your first guy out.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the NFC is so fascinating. I mean, look, the thing about the NFC, I have Stafford as number 1, and there is kind of like you go with what you're familiar with and just what you know to be true. Stafford could end up having a horrendous season. Like he's like right on the verge of that cliff where you go, I don't know. I don't know what you can still do. But when he's on, like the best version of Stafford, which he did look like sometimes last year, when the Rams were really rolling, is a damn good quarterback. Like, really good.
Hey, someone said Bump lost his damn mind. Love is barely in top 5.
That's wild.
I'm saying.
Love is number 1 is wild.
Write this down.
No.
All right, mark it. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback next year. Y'all laughed at me when I talked about Sam Darnold, too. Remember this.
We'll clip it.
Remember
we'll
this.
We'll clip it.
Y'all was talking mad crap about me.
Sure. I just can't look past Baker Mayfield as being one of, if not the most prolific passer in the NFC last year outside of Goff. Goff and Mayfield threw for the most yards. Jared Goff had 4,600 yards.
That's good.
37 touchdowns to 12 interceptions.
New offensive coordinator. It's all new over there for them. Goff is a system guy. Can this coordinator call it the way
do you think
that our guy did over there,
Jared
Ben
Goff
Johnson?
had the fewest weapons?
Oh, Jared Goff got weapons?
No, sorry. Do you think Jordan Love had fewer weapons than either
but
Goff
it's
Mayfield?
No, it's a young core. Next year, y'all trust me on this, all right? Next year, the Packers receiving core is going to go nuts, and Love is going to be the guy leading it.
Get your questions in for what I need to know. 866-979-3776. Coming your way next.
Tonight,
Logan looks in. Here's the stretch.
the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound as the M's look for their 3rd win in their last 4 games.
The 3-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 10 for Logan Gilbert.
Mariners, Royals.
Go down swinging.
First pitch at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 5:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. Well, that puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the nation. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Can you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Ready for summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament, presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Team registration is extended to July 7th. Register your team today at everett3on3.net. That's everett3on3.net. Each player gets an Amazon player bag. Thank you to event sponsors Boys and Girls Clubs, Xfinity, and Visit Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in. 866-979-3776. In honor of the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest. Welcome back, Joey Chestnut. If you had to enter a competitive eating contest, but you got to pick the food, what's the one thing you could eat way too much of and maybe even win?
French fries.
That's a good answer.
French fries for pounds of French fries, easily.
Mine would be Halo Top or Pop Chips.
Pop Chips, yeah.
Yeah, I could crush 5 bags easy, without even thinking twice.
I can just erase Cheez-Its. Like,
That's
no,
a good one.
Yeah,
That's a really.
good.
Cheez-Its are so criminally underrated. Like, I never think to get them ever, and then every time I have a bag of them, I'm like, oh my god.
You gotta hide them from yourself.
Truly. They'll change your life.
If we're talking just like snack food, I guess.
Well, anything.
Anything?
But you have
Let's
to think.
go pizza.
You have to think like I could win a potentially an eating
Here's a sneaky one that I think a lot of people could put up some staggering numbers with. Goldfish crackers.
Oh yeah.
You can eat a whole carton of those things.
Cheez-Its equivalent right there.
You ever have the ones that are in? It looks like a giant milk carton.
Yeah.
And then you can pour it directly into your mouth.
You don't even need hands at that point.
No. What I need to know. If the Mariners think Cal has a chance to win the Derby and become a bigger national star, he does. And they also think participating will hurt his on-field performance for a few series. It will. This is what they're saying. Do you think the Mariners would encourage or discourage Cal to participate? So if they think both things are true, that he's going to be great in the Derby, it'll help his star status, he deserves it, and also it could hurt him.
Discourage. They want to win. At least I hope they want to win.
I think if they genuinely thought that being in the Derby would hurt Cal and ruin his swing and do all these things, I think they'd have someone be like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So I think they don't believe that. I agree with Bump. Like, if they thought both things were true, you have your eye on the playoffs, right? Like, Ohtani is invited and didn't go. Judge was invited, isn't going. A couple other guys have been invited, and they're like, no, I don't want to. I'm not doing that. But they must think that the reward, and personally for Cal, is much greater than any risk.
Or they have no say in what Cal does on his off time. And there's nothing in his contract that says you cannot participate in the home run derby.
Yeah.
There's also, I believe, a financial incentive for Cal to participate in it. I think
Yeah, you
the
get $1
winner,
million,
the
right?
winner gets $1 million.
Dots Pretzels. Yeah. What I need to know, my daughter will be gone for 11 days on a trip to Australia. Will be the longest time we've been kidless. What would you do with your free time? From Chris and Anna.
We touching every room. Every room's getting touched.
Oh my God.
I mean that, but also go on a trip. Go on a trip to occupy yourself. If you're missing your kid that long, go somewhere else.
Oh man.
Go somewhere where you told yourself, let's go when we don't have the responsibility of watching kids anymore.
Every room.
Every room gets touched.
866-979-3776. Do aliens exist? Happy World UFO Day to all who celebrate.
Do. Yes. Yes, they do. You kidding me? They're probably among us right now. In this building, walking around.
In this actual building.
Walking around.
Of all places
on
for
some
them
Men
to
in
be.
Black type stuff.
No way.
Hey, they're everywhere, man.
Who of us is most likely to be an alien in disguise? Like, actually, I'll say this. Who working with 710, if someone was like, yo, you will not believe it, but they are actually an alien, you would be least
Matthew
surprised.
Nelson. Matthew Nelson.
Basically, who among us tries to act normal, but something's a bit off about that?
Curtis?
I'd say Brock. Brock tries to act normal, but something's a bit off.
Yeah, where you're like, this is someone pretending to be a human, I think.
You don't drink, huh?
Matt's favorite movie is Aliens.
Same.
But he's telling on himself with that one. I think that's too obvious. That's a very bold alien move to be like, you know what I'm really interested in? Aliens. That's too bold. 866-979-3776. If you'd been in the area, would you have crashed Brock's daughter's wedding?
Oh, yeah, I would have cultured that thing up. I would have cultured that thing up. I would have been to the DJ.
What are you trying to say, Bub?
Listen to this track.
What are you trying to say about a wedding in Montana?
Montana. I would have been the one representative in that piece getting it cracking, though. They would be like, man, that fella was so fun.
Have you crashed a wedding? I think you have.
Yeah,
You've talked about it.
An Indian
Just
wedding.
One? An
A couple Indian weddings. They were fun.
A couple?
A couple Indian weddings.
How do you get to a couple
Because I
Indian
stayed at the
weddings?
same hotel in California, and
And that's
apparently
just where the best Indian weddings are?
That's where it goes down.
Dang. If only I knew. 866-979-3776. Someone said there's no evidence for the Derby affecting performance. We have data for things like that.
Okay. All right. No scientific evidence.
The eye test, homie. The eye test.
Not someone saying Michael Humpus.
No.
866-979-3776. Bump, what if the Lakers signed Dame to a minimum deal?
We are going to sign him. We are.
Probably
We don't even get to enjoy that for a year,
I
though.
know.
Whatever, I'll take it.
It'll be 26,
This is
27.
it's like in 2002 when all the old heads just crashed the party. We had Karl Malone, Gary Payton. Like it's what Lakers do, man. We take the old heads.
866-979-3776. Have you ever seen an orca?
I haven't.
I haven't either. Ian, you have?
I was kayaking in the San Juans up on Henry Island.
They make it seem, in every promotional thing I see for the San Juan Islands, they make it seem like it's like pigeons. Like if you go there, they're just going to be there.
I wouldn't go that far. I've been going my entire life, and I've only seen them once.
It's like orca season too, right? When is it?
I think it's towards the end of the summer, maybe when it starts to cool down. They go back somewhere else.
Ooh, someone sent in another. I have seen a whale in Mexico. Someone sent in another one for an eating contest. Pizza rolls. Totino's pizza
I was thinking
rolls.
pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
Same kind of size.
The thing, though, with pizza rolls, you got to wait for them to cool off, or else you're going to burn your mouth.
Yeah, you'll die. You'll have
they're not
skin
built for
peeling.
speed.
No, absolutely not. Well, once they cool, once you get them at the perfect temperature, then you can just pop those things. But yeah, that's another really good one. I think just a bag. I don't know anyone who couldn't sit and finish a bag of chips. Something about chips. Do you ever see that tweet that's like, when I was younger, a witch cursed me to eat chips?
No.
Just to like chips. And it's such a horrible curse. You'll never stop eating them. Bump would be the only logical choice for an alien. He's the only superior athlete. Wow, the audacity for you guys to ignore my prolific swimming career.
Well, it's because of your quads.
Thank you.
That's why.
I could probably have been in the Olympics if I was 5 inches taller and I had quad strength.
Yep.
That would have. I wouldn't even be here right now.
Those are the only two things keeping you from Olympic glory.
Yeah, it is, Curtis. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Have you ever test drove a car with absolutely no intention to buy it?
Oh, for sure.
Like, you'll just go out and you'll be like, so what's this thing about? That's interesting.
Yeah, well,
You don't feel like you're going to get, like,
I
you're
was
lying.
kind of going to buy it, but I knew that I wasn't in position to buy it, but I wanted to drive it anyway.
Yeah.
So
did you just
drove
say,
it.
can I drive it? Or were you like,
I went through the process. Oh, let me see.
Well, let me hear about it.
Oh, yeah. Talk to me. I was there
Yeah.
for like an hour.
Yeah, $1,200 a month. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and test that one. All right, I almost said get your questions in. No, we're done.
That's it.
And we're leaving. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only Tim Kirkchin is with us. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just as confused as you are about the Mariners, if they're going to get really good or not.
Is it hard to understand where their needs truly are as we approach that trade deadline?
This team is due for a great stretch of great starting pitching. If they can score a few runs, maybe they can really make a playoff berth in the American League.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
It's our biggest event of the summer, the Putts Golf Sidewalk Sale. Thousands of items on sale on the best brands in the game and at unthinkable savings. Don't be left out. It all starts Thursday for 4 days only at Putts.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's the Got to Go used car sales event at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, June 27th through July 6th. Choose from over 350 used vehicles in stock and ready to move. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home